I was dead asleep, in the middle of some random dream, until my uncle grabbed me and started shaking me like a broken vending machine. "Your wife ran away," he's screaming. "Wife? What wife? I've been single my whole life. My right hand doesn't have legs." But then, BM, a tsunami of someone else's memories crashes into my brain. Turns out, I'm not me anymore. I'm some other guy, also named Lin Feng, living in 1981, in a village so deep in the mountains that even GPS would file a missing person report. I'm 20 years old, built like a refrigerator with anger issues, and apparently I'm the village's #1 menace. The local boogeyman. Kids run from me. Adults run from me. Dogs probably run from me too. How did I get here? Well, in my old life, I maybe had a tiny little car accident. Just a small one. I got on the highway going the wrong way after some drinks. Mixed up the brake and gas pedal. Could happen to anyone, right? Apparently God disagreed. So now I'm in a mud house with a roof that leaks, walls blacker than my future, and a blanket with a hole so big the cotton escaped years ago. I own exactly one outfit. Patches holding hands with other patches. And apparently, drunk me, well, drunk other me, went to a party, heard someone mention a pretty girl, and immediately marched over to her house, kissed her by force, punched her dad, threw money at them, and declared, "She's mine now." Real romantic stuff. Shakespeare is jealous. The girl, Susu Xiaoha, has tried to escape this marriage 6 times. 6. That's not a bride. That's a prisoner of war running an escape operation. And this time she finally pulled it off, grabbed all the money, and vanished into the night. Honestly, respect. The money, by the way, wasn't even mine. I borrowed it from Uncle Lindashin. And by borrowed, I mean I robbed my own uncle. His life savings. 2 whole years of sweat and tears. 10 big bills. Gone. No wonder the man looks like he's about to cry every time I open my mouth. I asked him, "Hey, is this girl at least pretty?" He started weeping. Not because of the question, because every time I call him, "Uncle," in a nice voice, it means I'm about to take his stuff again. The man has PTSD from being my relative. He confirmed she's gorgeous though. Top 2 beauty in 10 villages. So naturally, I decided, fine, I'll go find her. Not because I'm unreasonable. I'm a very reasonable guy. I just want to see what my wife looks like, and maybe get the money back. Priorities. I threw on my one outfit. Things so tight on this body, it looks like a sausage casing. But hey, these muscles are absolutely ridiculous. I feel like I could fist fight a bear, and the bear would apologize. We stepped outside, and someone in the distance screamed, "Run!" The beast Lin Feng is out of his cage. Then I heard the entire village stampeding away like I'm a natural disaster with legs. I can't even be mad. This place is cooked. I'm cooked. But at least I'm cooked with abs. So Uncle Dashin is speed walking behind me like a stressed-out chihuahua while I'm just strolling through the mountains, enjoying the scenery. The man is about to have a heart attack over his money. Hurry up. She's getting away. I tried to explain basic logic to him, who walked 3 hours through the mountains just to deliver the news that my bride escaped. Some random dude who happened to bump into someone from her village, which means she ran yesterday. She's got a full day head start. We could sprint there on rocket shoes and still find nothing but dust and regret. Uncle Dashin's face turned the color of a tomato having a bad day. I think he actually started crying. Big dude, 6 feet tall, built like a water buffalo, sobbing on a mountain trail because his nephew is the worst investment he ever made. I felt a little bad, so I put my arm around him and gave him my best smile. "Uncle, I'm a changed man. Starting right now, I'm going to be kind, honest, hardworking, generous, the whole package. A real chop wood, feed the horses, sunrise and flowers kind of guy." He looked at me like I just told him the moon is made of dumplings. Apparently the village has a saying. You can believe a pig will climb a tree before you believe Lin Feng's promises. Every time I say something nice, it means someone's about to lose their stuff. Fair enough. Got any cigarettes, uncle? Give me a pack. He started crying again. Just 1 pack. Why are you crying? You're a grown man. Smile. Come on, smile for me. More crying. This went on for 2 hours. We finally arrived at Su family village, specifically at the house of Su Daqiang, my future father-in-law, the guy I apparently punched in the face while proposing. Great first impression. The scene at his house was already a full circus. His oldest daughter Su Chunhua was screaming at him because my runaway bride took all the family's money. Not just my bride price, but their savings too. $180 gone. The daughter wanted grain. The son wanted the daughter to shut up. The old man was squatting on the ground smoking, looking like life had chewed him up and used him as a doormat. Then a neighbor lady burst in screaming. The madman Lin Feng is at the village entrance. You'd think she announced a zombie apocalypse. Old man Su collapsed on the ground like someone unplugged him. The daughter and her husband froze, then bolted for the door like Olympic sprinters. The son just stood there whispering, "It's over," on repeat like a broken radio. See, my reputation around here is legendary, and not the good kind. Apparently, one time I walked past a village while they were handing out grain rations, grabbed 2 full sacks, and just walked away. 100 people tried to stop me. I kicked every single one of them. They all rolled around on the ground like human bowling pins. Then I smelled someone cooking chicken, so I took the entire pot. The owner complained, so I set his firewood pile on fire. Nearly burned his house down. They tried getting me arrested. I'd be out in a month, come back angrier, and get revenge. There was literally no winning. So yeah, when people hear Lin Feng is coming, it hits different than a normal visitor announcement. The daughter and her husband reached the front gate at full speed, about to escape, and that's when I kicked the doors open. Both doors flew off the hinges and landed right on top of them. Perfect timing. Didn't even plan it. They went down like sandwich ingredients under 2 slices of wooden bread. I stepped over the wreckage, looked at the old man melting into the ground, and said my line. "Su Daqiang, you old deadbeat. I hear my wife ran off? Let's talk about that." Nailed it. Absolutely nailed the entrance. 10 out of 10. I should do this professionally. Look, on the walk over I had plenty of time to think about my new life situation. I'm stuck in 1981 with 50 years of future knowledge in my brain and a body that could bench press a tractor. I could do literally anything. But first, I gotta pay back Uncle Dashin's $100. That's the decent thing to do. I'm turning over a new leaf here. As for the runaway bride, honestly, I don't care. Once I get rich, I'll head south, maybe hit up Hong Kong, date some actresses. Why chase one village girl through the mountains? So I walked into old man Su Daqiang's yard with one simple goal. Get the money back, be polite, leave. Easy, right? Wrong. The old man saw me and his legs went from jelly to springs, jumped straight up off the ground, and called me son-in-law. Whoa, 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 pump the brakes. Don't go calling me that. I'm single. You'll ruin my reputation. Meanwhile, the entire village gathered outside the fence like it was free movie night. And my superhuman hearing picked up everything they were whispering. What's Lin Feng gonna do to old Su? His daughter drugged her own dad's wine and ran off with every penny. Lin Feng's gonna lose it. I bet he breaks their legs. Someone said the Su family has 3 daughters. Think they'll swap in the youngest one. The youngest has tuberculosis. She's been locked in a cave in the back mountain for years. Nobody even knows if she's alive. Honestly, I hope they give her to him. Maybe he catches it and dies. He stole 8 of my chickens. He took my goat, my cooking pot. He harassed my daughter, my mother, my grandmother. Good Lord. What kind of monster was the old me? I'm standing here listening to my own crime documentary in real time. The list just kept going. I wanted to dig a hole and crawl in. My previous self was basically a one-man natural disaster with a side hobby of stealing poultry. Right. Reform starts today. No more violence. No more threats. I'm going to handle this like a civilized gentleman. So I put on my warmest, friendliest voice and smiled at the trembling old man. Hey, Su Daqiang, don't worry about what my uncle said. I'm not here to cause trouble. Your daughter ran off? That's fine. The money's gone? Also fine. She can be found eventually. A young girl alone out there. It's dangerous, you know? Could get tricked, get hurt, end up where nobody can find the body. And the money. Take your time. I know where you live. You've got decades left. I'm sure we'll settle up eventually. Because starting today, I, Lin Feng, am going to be a good person. The old man and his son dropped to their knees and started sobbing. The daughter and her husband, who had just crawled out from under those door panels I accidentally smashed them with. They quietly laid back down and played dead again. The crowd behind me gasped so hard I felt the wind on my neck. Everyone started shaking their heads like they were watching a funeral. I was confused. I said nice things, warm things, understanding things. Why is everyone acting like I just announced a public execution? Turns out, when the most notorious psychopath in 10 villages suddenly starts talking soft and gentle, people don't think, oh, he's changed. They think, oh God, he's going to murder the whole family slowly. Ancestor Len. We were wrong, the old man wailed. Take my life, but spare my son. Dad, I'll die with you, the son cried. But I haven't even had kids yet. I turned to Uncle Dashin for backup. Surely he would tell them I'm serious. Uncle Dashin had tears in his eyes. Lin Foam, forget the money. Just please, let them live. Are you kidding me? Fine, fine. You want the old Lin Foam? You can't handle nice Lin Foam? Let me give you what you understand. I slammed on my scary face, cranked up the intimidation to maximum, and roared, 10 days. Either bring back the girl or return the money. Or I break your legs. The old man stopped crying. He actually smiled. His son looked relieved. The entire crowd exhaled like they'd been holding their breath underwater. People started chatting normally again, like everything was fine now. Uncle Dashin was nodding with pure joy on his face, like a near-death experience just ended. Being a good person is exhausting. I tried being nice for exactly 45 seconds and almost gave an entire family a collective heart attack. Threatening to break legs? That calmed them down. What kind of backwards universe is this? 10 days. Yes, yes, yes. I'll find Shaha and bring her right to your door. The old man agreed, practically beaming. But then, a voice. Weak, shaky, but clear and sweet like a little bell. Dad. Cough, cough. We should return the money. We can't push second sister. Cough, cough. Into a fire pit. Well, well, well. Who do we have here? Oh ho. Someone's got guts. I turned around ready to see which fool just called me a fire pit to my face. And then I completely froze. Standing there was the skinniest girl I'd ever seen, leaning on a stick like it was the only thing between her and gravity. She was wearing rags. Her hair was dry and yellow, and she was coughing like her lungs were filing a resignation letter. A thick scarf covered half her face. But that other half? Holy mother of everything. Even half dead from disease, even skinny enough to be used as a bookmark, this girl was drop-dead gorgeous. Skin white as snow, eyebrows painted like art, eyes like stars. She looked like a frost flower, beautiful and about 2 seconds from breaking. And this was her sick version. If you fed her some actual food and cured whatever was killing her, she'd be the kind of pretty that crashes cars and starts wars. My runaway bride dipped, but she left behind a stunning little sister-in-law. Life finds a way. Everyone else. They reacted like she was a walking nuclear bomb. The whole crowd backed up 50 meters and covered their faces. Her own dad started yelling at her to go back to the cave in the mountain where they'd been keeping her. Her sister and brother-in-law scrambled out from under those door panels faster than they'd moved all day, ran behind Old Man Sue, and plugged their noses. Tuberculosis. That's what she had. And in 1981, in a village this remote, TB might as well be a death sentence written in permanent marker. Everyone treated her like touching her meant instant death. The look in that girl's eyes when her own family recoiled from her. She just quietly lowered her head and swallowed the sadness like she'd been practicing for years. Then she spoke, between coughs that sounded like they cost her a week of energy each. Second sister came to see me before she ran. She wanted to take me to the city to see a doctor. I didn't go. She gave me all the money. She pulled out a cloth bundle from her pocket. Shaking hands. Inside was the full stack, my bride price plus the family savings. Dad, let second sister go. We'll return the money. The moment the Sue family saw that cash, their eyes lit up like slot machines hitting jackpot. They all stepped forward. Then she coughed, and they all froze mid-step like a game of red light, green light. Wanted the money. Terrified of the girl holding it. She saw that. I saw her see that. The light in her eyes just died a little more. She put the money on the ground, couldn't even hand it to them because nobody would get close enough, and tried to stand up. Failed. Tried again. Failed. Tried again. Everyone just watched. Not one person moved to help. Her own father. Her sister. Her brother. The whole village full of spectators. Nobody. I wanted to help her up. My legs actually started moving. But then I remembered. I'm supposed to be the terrifying village psychopath right now. Can't exactly break character to gently assist a sick girl. My brand doesn't include kindness. I pulled my foot back. Su Da-qiang, I said coldly, you know your daughter is dying, right? He mumbled something about TB being incurable and contagious. I'm pretty sure the new county hospital just opened this year. They have Western medicine. It can treat tuberculosis. It's probably not too late. I figured maybe they didn't know. Remote village. Bad information, right? Nope. Their eyes shifted around like guilty rats. They knew. They absolutely knew there was treatment available. They just didn't want to pay for it. TB treatment takes 1 to 2 years of continuous medication. Stop the drugs, it comes back worse. That's expensive. And not a single member of this loving family wanted to spend a penny on her. Well, actually, my runaway bride wanted to. That's probably why she memorized where the old man hid the cash. She was going to use it to save her little sister. But the little sister refused to go because she didn't want to be a burden. Two stubborn sisters protecting each other while the rest of their family treated one of them like radioactive garbage. Real heartwarming stuff from the Sue household. The girl finally dragged herself upright through sheer willpower. She took one last look at her family, the kind of look that says, goodbye forever, and started shuffling away. Back toward the mountain. Back toward the cave where they dumped her. She was 18 years old, and she'd already picked out her own burial spot. Meanwhile, Old Man Sue sprinted to the money on the ground, snatched it up, touched the cloth bundle she'd wrapped it in, and flung it away like it burned him. Counted every bill. Stuffed them in his pocket. Real classy pops. Uncle Dashin went ballistic. Grabbed the old man's shirt. Give back the bride price. 10 days. You said 10 days. I'll find my second daughter. No refunds. They started wrestling on the ground. The daughter and her husband jumped in, not to break up the fight, but to try and steal the money from their own father's pocket. The son joined the pile. The whole village was laughing and cheering like it was Monday Night Wrestling. But I wasn't watching any of that. My eyes were on that thin little silhouette slowly disappearing toward the mountain. 18 years old. Walking back to die alone in a cave because her family decided she wasn't worth saving. Lin Feng. Help me. They won't give the money back. Uncle Dashin was losing a 4-on-1 and screaming for reinforcements. I waved my hand lazily. Forget the refund. Since when do we take back a bride price? That's tacky. Everyone stopped fighting. I grinned at Old Man Sue. Hey, father-in-law, your second daughter ran off. No big deal. The bride price is yours to keep. But since I already paid, I'll just marry the little sister-in-law instead. Cool. Cool. The moment I said, I'll marry the little sister instead, the entire village blue-screened. Uncle Dashin, still on the ground wrestling Old Man Sue, froze mid-chokehold. The crowd collectively stuck fingers in their ears, convinced they'd malfunctioned. Everyone started whispering at once. Did the madman just say he wants to marry the TB girl? He's actually insane. Like medically insane. Treatment costs 1,500 yuan. She probably can't even have kids. He'd be marrying a money pit. Uncle Dashin lost his entire mind. Have you gone completely crazy? That's tuberculosis. You'll die? I paid 100 yuan for this, and you want to marry a corpse? I looked at all of them with my best unbothered face. I want to. Deal with it. Meanwhile, Old Man Sue's family went from terrified to ecstatic in about half a second. Their dying daughter, the one they threw in a cave, could still be sold? For 100 yuan bride price they already pocketed? Their ancestors' graves must be shooting fireworks right now. Wonderful. She's yours. Best son-in-law ever. The big sister almost said something stupid. I caught the word, jackal, forming on her lips, but one look from me and her mouth slammed shut like a mousetrap. I scanned the whole crowd with my murder eyes. Anyone talks trash about my wife, I burn your house down. Dead. Silence. Every single mouth in the village closed simultaneously. You know what? Being a feared psychopath has its perks. One sentence, and I get more respect than a good person gets in a lifetime. I caught up to Su Qiuxin in about 10 steps. The girl moved like a snail running a marathon uphill. Time to be smooth. Hey, girl who's about to die. Since you're dying anyway, want to come with me? Bargain deal. She turned around slowly and stared at me with those gorgeous, dead-inside eyes. Then she coughed so hard her face turned red, turned back around, and kept walking. Didn't say one word. Total rejection. By a girl leaning on a stick. My ego took damage. But I understood. This girl had already made peace with death. Her family tossed her in a mountain cave like expired milk. Her only ally, second sister, ran away. She came down the mountain today to see her family one last time and found out exactly what she expected. Nobody cared. She was planning to walk back up that hill and quietly die alone. 18 years old. Just. Done. Heavy stuff. But I'm here now, and I refuse to let this happen. So I blocked her path and tried the inspirational speech route. Your disease is treatable. Don't you want to live? See the world? Beautiful mountains, delicious food, sweet romance, the joy of chasing your own kids with a stick. Life has so much to offer. Her eyes flickered for exactly 1 second. Then they went dark again. She looked at me, standing there posing like a motivational poster, walked around me, and kept climbing. Hey, don't just walk away. I'm saying I'll pay for your treatment. You can live. She paused. Her voice was barely a whisper. Thank you. No need. Then she added, maybe second sister was wrong about you. You're not completely rotten. Not completely rotten. That's what I got. Hey, you're not totally evil, card. I just poured my heart out with a beautiful speech about life and love, and she gave me a participation trophy for basic humanity. And then it hit me, being nice doesn't work in this universe. I tried nice with the Sioux family. They thought I was planning a massacre. I tried nice with this girl. She politely told me to buzz off and kept walking toward her own grave. Fine. Good guy Lin Feng is officially retired after the shortest career in history. Let's try something else. I cranked up the villain voice. You know, I already paid the bride price, and your daddy sure ain't giving it back. Since you won't be my wife, guess I'll have to track down your second sister instead. She stopped walking. She's only been running 3 days. No money, no horse, no car. I'll find her easy. And when I do, oh boy, I started listing my evil husband credentials like a resume from hell. I'll make her chop wood, cook meals, and work 3 jobs to pay off my debts. I'm a gambler, so better make that 5 jobs. I want meat every meal, but she doesn't get any. I'm also a drunk, and when I'm drunk I hit people. No off switch, no holding back. When we have kids, I hit them too. I was really getting into it now. Only 1 blanket in my house, so she warms it up for me. Then I kick her to the cold side. If she tries to run again, I break 1 leg and chain her up like a dog. Winter's coming, so that should be fun for her. Su Qiuxin stopped completely. Frozen solid. Like someone hit her pause button. Got her. Look, I have zero intention of doing any of that garbage. I'm basically reading the World's Worst Husband manual out loud. But sometimes you can't save people by being nice. Sometimes you gotta be so cartoonishly awful that they come back to life just out of pure anger. Good person? Nobody listens. Bad person? Everyone pays attention. Being a villain is way more effective than being a hero. And I hate that this is a lesson I'm learning on day 1 of my new life. It worked. The villain strategy actually worked. The second I started listing all the horrible things I'd do to her sister, Su Qiuxin's eyes went from ready to die to ready to kill. She pulled down her scarf, her big weapon, her tuberculosis face, her biological nuclear option, basically threatening to cough me to death. And I just stood there with my mouth open because holy mother of gorgeous. 2 lifetimes. 2 entire lifetimes of seeing faces. This one wins. Even starving, sick, hollow-cheeked, with yellow hair and skin so pale it's basically see-through. She was the most beautiful human being I'd ever seen. Like a painting someone left in the rain, but it's still a masterpiece. If you cured her and fed her a sandwich, she'd cause international incidents. My bride ran away, but the sister-in-law is a masterpiece. Sometimes life takes your wallet and leaves you a diamond. So I gave her my best ultimatum. Either you come with me, or I hunt down your sister and make her life a living nightmare. Pick one. You've got 10 seconds. I started counting. 1, 2. She's shaking, glaring, pointing at me like I personally offended God. 8. Fine. I'll go with you. Leave my sister alone, you demon. Inside my head. Mission accomplished, ladies and gentlemen. Outside my head. Great. Let's go. Bargain wife. She agreed to come, but absolutely refused my help. Turned around and started climbing the mountain to get her stuff from the cave. Stubborn as a donkey on principle. I watched her struggle for about 3 seconds before my patience expired. I walked up, yanked the walking stick out of her hands, and launched it into the forest like a javelin. Before she could finish being angry, I scooped her up and started walking downhill. She weighed approximately nothing. Holding her felt like carrying a bag of chopsticks. This girl desperately needed about 40 cheeseburgers. Put me down. I'll infect you. Nah. Too close. I'm contagious. Don't care. She tried struggling, but she had the physical strength of an angry kitten. Her head ended up pressed against my chest whether she liked it or not. Your stuff on the mountain? Forget it. You're broke. There's nothing worth going back for. Then, because I'm apparently incapable of not being an idiot, I added, let's hurry home. Can't wait for the wedding night. In my defense, this is totally normal teasing where I come from. But in 1981 rural China, I basically just committed a federal crime of indecency. The girl went so red her entire neck and ears turned the color of a tomato having a panic attack. No, it'll spread the disease. I said it's happening, so it's happening. Wife duties start immediately. She rolled her eyes so hard I think she saw her own brain, then turned her head away and stopped talking to me. And then, she fell asleep, right there in my arms. The girl who was ready to die alone in a cave 10 minutes ago just passed out on my chest like a baby. She must have been so exhausted. I slowed my walking way down, kept it smooth. She felt like carrying a bundle of twigs, no weight, all bones. This girl needs serious nutritional rehabilitation. Feed her for 6 months straight. Down at the base of the mountain, Uncle Dashin was squatting by the road, throwing rocks and crying. Still waiting for me. Loyal guy, honestly. He saw me coming, ran over excitedly, saw what I was carrying, and teleported backwards. You're actually insane. You're holding a TB patient. You're going to die. Don't come near me. You're infected now. Your father only had one son. The family line is finished. What is wrong with you? The bride price is gone, and you're bringing home a disease. Then he started talking to my dead father. Out loud. To the sky. Big brother. Climb out of your grave and look at your idiot son. I told him to calm down. She's my wife now. 10 big bills, fair and square. I'll pay him back. Let's go home. He did not calm down. When we reached the village entrance, it was almost dark. I turned to tell Uncle Dashin something, and the man bolted past me like an Olympic sprinter, screaming at the top of his lungs. Lion Feng's gone mad. He brought home a TB ghost. Run for your lives. Bang. 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 Every door in the village slammed shut. Every window locked. Every light went dark. Even the dogs went silent. The entire village played dead in under 30 seconds. 300 households collectively decided that tonight, nobody lives here. I stood there in total darkness holding my sleeping bride, surrounded by the most aggressively quiet village in human history. This freaking village, man. Actually, you know what? This is fine. Uncle Dashin's big mouth just solved my infection control problem. Nobody's coming anywhere near my house now. Free quarantine. Somewhere during all the chaos, Su Qiuxin had woken up. She was looking up at me with those huge, clear eyes. Didn't say anything. Just looking. Something in her expression was different from before. Less, I want to die, and more, what on earth did I just get myself into? I looked down at her and grinned. We're home. Now, wedding night. Wedding night. She rolled her eyes again. But I swear. The corner of her mouth twitched just a tiny bit upward. Day one of my new life. Lost a bride. Gained a dying sister-in-law wife. Traumatized my uncle. Cleared out an entire village. And carried a girl who weighs less than my old backpack across a mountain. Pretty productive, honestly. I carried my new wife through what used to be a front gate. Emphasis on used to, because half the door was missing. Past me burned it for firewood last winter. Of course he did. The yard was empty. The walls were half collapsed. The 3 little mud rooms looked like they were having a competition to see which one falls down first. The windows were sealed with old newspaper and rags, but there were still enough holes to qualify as ventilation systems. Premium airflow. Very modern. I set Su Qiuxin down, brought her the only piece of furniture I owned, one stool, and told her to wait while I tidied up inside. I went in, looked around, came back out, went in again, looked harder, came back out again. There was nothing to tidy. There was nothing to tidy with. There were no objects. The phrase, for bare walls, is usually an exaggeration. For my house, it was a generous description. My house made bare walls feel overdressed. I scratched my head, went back out, and gave her my most charming, awkward smile. So, tonight's going to be a little rough. I'll figure it out tomorrow. Then I picked her up, put her on the Kong bed, and said, wait here, and left. Didn't explain where I was going. Mostly because explaining would have been embarrassing. Where was I going? To rob my uncle. Again. Look, I know. I literally just promised to be a good person. But my dying wife is sitting on a bare brick bed in a house with a hole in the roof. It's getting cold, and I own exactly 0. Blankets because the previous owner of this body apparently burned everything flammable to survive winter like some kind of caveman arsonist. I jogged over to Uncle Dashin's house, knocked on the door. Silence. Dead silence. Door locked tighter than a bank vault. No problem. I hopped over the 2-meter wall like it was a speed bump. Seriously, this body is ridiculous. Dropped into the yard and kicked the door open. The entire family of 4 was huddled together like penguins in a blizzard. Hey, Uncle, Auntie, Jangwo, Xiaoqing, everyone's home. Have you guys eaten? My Aunt Lu Chunhua fired first. What do you want? Get out. You're not welcome here. My cousins were fuming but too scared to open their mouths. Smart kids. Previous me had a reputation for hitting family members regardless of age or gender. Equal opportunity violence. Uncle Dashin had already fled to the back room, covering his face with cloth, convinced I was now patient zero of the tuberculosis apocalypse. Auntie, relax, you'll get wrinkles. You took Jangwo's school money and married a dying girl. Are you trying to kill this family? Then she launched into the full performance. Crying, wailing, threatening to hang herself. Real tears too, buckets of them. The 100 yuan I borrowed for the bride price? That was my cousin Jangwo's high school tuition. In the 1980s, a village kid making it to high school was rarer than a unicorn sighting. The family had been scraping pennies for years, and I just threw it all away on a bride who ran and a replacement bride who's dying. When you put it that way, yeah, I'm the villain of this story. Then all 3 of them, auntie and both cousins, started group crying, hugging each other, sobbing, listing my crimes like a courtroom prosecution. I stood there feeling like the worst person in human history, which, based on original Lin Feng's track record, was probably accurate. Auntie, please. I've changed. I'm a new man. I'll never steal from you again. I'm going to be a good person now. The crying got quieter. Hope flickered in their eyes. So, Auntie, can I borrow 2 blankets and some food? Wahhhhh. The crying came back at 3 times the volume, like I'd turned it off and back on with a power surge. All 3 of them wailing like sirens. They wanted to fight me, but were too terrified. So they just cried harder. It was genuinely impressive lung capacity. Stop crying. Who died? I'm the one with TB exposure, and you don't see me crying. Instant silence. 3 pairs of tear-soaked eyes staring at me, furious but obedient. I said, I'll pay you back. Then I helped myself. Walked into the bedroom, opened the wardrobe. I knew exactly where everything was from years of raiding this house. Grabbed 2 thick blankets. Hit the kitchen. Wrapped up some corn buns. Found a small bag of millet. Took half. Grabbed 2 cabbages. Some salt. And their small iron cooking pot. I walked out carrying approximately 30% of their household supplies. Arms full like I'd just been grocery shopping. The second I cleared the gate, I heard Auntie's voice pierce the night sky. Bandits. Robbers. Someone help. I'm going to die. Sorry, Auntie. I really am. Future me will make it up to you tenfold. I've got 50 years of knowledge in my head. I will get rich. Probably. Hopefully. At minimum, I'll replace your cooking pot. I got home and walked in to find Su Qiuxin curled up against the wall like a scared cat. When she saw me, she flinched and started coughing. Her eyes were full of fear and zero trust. I ignored it. Spread out the thick blankets on the bed. Made it look almost comfortable. I'm making food. Don't fall asleep yet. Went outside, set up the little iron pot in the yard, and started boiling millet porridge with cabbage tossed in. Used the remaining door panel as firewood. Because of course I did. Now I have no door. 0 doors. Open concept living, as the real estate people would say. I looked at the empty door frame. Looked at the hole in my roof. Looked at my stolen cooking pot. Thought about my TB-positive wife curled up inside, and sighed. No matter what era you end up in, past, present, future, alternate dimension, you still can't escape one universal truth. You gotta make money. Always. Forever. There is no rest. The porridge was done. 2 bowls, both chipped, both ugly, both the only dishware I owned. Welcome to the Lin Feng dining experience. 5 stars on absolutely no review site. I brought a bowl to my new wife. Hey, bargain wife. Eat. She looked at it. Looked at me. Looked away. Curled up tighter in her corner like a dying flower that's also giving you the silent treatment. Oh, come on. Fine. Villain mode. Activated. If you don't eat, you won't have energy for the wedding night. And if you don't have energy, I'll go find your sister instead. She runs pretty fast. Bet Esichi eats her meals, her head snapped up. Pure fury. Mission accomplished. Eat or don't eat. Put it down. Get out. I put it down. Got out. Went and drank my own porridge. Came back. Bowl was empty. Clean. Works every time. Threatened to find the sister. Girl eats. Simple psychology. I should write a parenting book. Then I walked over and scooped her up to move her to the warm bed. She grabbed my neck so tight I thought she was trying to strangle me. Her whole body was shaking. Eyes squeezed shut. Nails digging into her own palms. She was absolutely 100% convinced this was it. The wedding night from hell was happening right now with a tuberculosis immune psychopath. I tucked her in, covered her with the thick stolen blanket. Then, just stood there. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Nothing happened. The room was dead quiet except for her heartbeat, which I could practically hear hammering through the blanket. Then I opened my big stupid mouth. TCH, you're all bones. Touching you feels like shuffling mahjong tiles. Nothing up front, nothing in the back. You're basically a clothesline pole with a heartbeat. I can't work with this. Need to fatten you up first. Her eyes flew open and slammed right into my disgusted expression. The fear vanished, replaced by volcanic rage. Get out. Cough, cough. Going. I left grinning. She yanked the blanket over her head and burrowed into it like an angry hamster. But here's the thing. She wasn't scared anymore. She wasn't thinking about dying. She was thinking about how much she wanted to murder me. Anger is better than despair. I'll take it. I set up my bedroom in the West Room. Set up, meaning I threw some dry grass on the floor, put the second blanket on top, and called it a mattress. Luxury living. Lying there, looking at the actual moon through the actual hole in my actual roof, I started doing math. And the math was terrifying. Tuberculosis medicine, rifampicin, ethambutol, streptomycin, isoniazid, liver protectors. The whole cocktail costs about 120 yuan per month. Su Qiuxin needs at least 18 months of continuous treatment. Miss one day, and the bacteria develop resistance. Then she's actually dead for real. No takebacks. Total cost, over 2,000 yuan. For reference, a top-tier factory worker in the city makes 500 a year. A village laborer makes about 200. My wife's medical bill equals 10 years of a strong man working without eating. No wonder her family dumped her in a cave. They weren't just heartless, they were also broke. Though mostly heartless. This beautiful disaster is going to bankrupt me before I even have money to go bankrupt with. But what am I going to do? Let her die? I grew up under the red flag. I've got a conscience. It's inconvenient, but it's there. Now, how to make money in 1981 when you're a rural peasant with zero assets? Let me check my options. The government just started allowing private business, but only for city residents. Rural people can sell farm products at a stand. That's it. Anything else is speculation and profiteering, actual crime. Real private business won't be legal until 87. So entrepreneurship is out. I can't exactly launch a startup when the government would literally arrest me for it. That leaves one option, the mountains. Behind our village sits an endless, massive mountain range full of wild animals, herbs, and medicinal plants. Also full of wolves, tigers, bears, and wild boars. Also full of the ghosts of the 1/3 of villagers who went in during the famine and never came back out. But I've got a body that could fistfight a bear and win. I've got 50 years of future knowledge rattling around my skull, including some half-remembered TikTok videos about traditional Chinese medicine. There's this formula called moonflower pills, specifically for treating tuberculosis. Needs herbs like sha shun, mai dong, tian dong. I can find those in the mountains. Stabilize her condition with traditional medicine while I hunt animals to sell for cash to buy the real Western drugs. With my one-punch kills a bear physique and my tragically incomplete hunting knowledge, I can probably make money. Right? I fell asleep doing math that didn't add up, dreaming about herbs I couldn't fully remember. Next morning, coughing woke me up. I threw on clothes, walked outside, and found Su Qiuxin already in the yard, cooking porridge. My porridge. In my stolen pot. With my stolen millet and my stolen cabbage. She was still in her paper-thin patched clothes. Ankles exposed, scarf covering half her gorgeous face, looking like a magazine cover that fell into a garbage disposal. But her eyes were brighter. She'd actually slept well. First good sleep in who knows how long. My stolen blankets doing God's work. Something warm flickered in my chest for half a second before I immediately smothered it with maximum obnoxiousness. I leaned against the door frame, tilted my head at the most annoying angle possible, and did my best impression of a punchable internet villain. Oh, already stepping up to wifely duties? Not bad. Not bad at all. She didn't look up, but I'm pretty sure the porridge was now being stirred with murderous intent. This is fine. Everything is fine. I just need to somehow earn 2,000 yuan in a pre-capitalism economy using nothing but my fists and some half-remembered TikTok herbal remedies. Piece of cake. Porridge done. Su Qiuxin served herself a bowl and disappeared into her room. Closed the door. She knew her disease was contagious, so she kept her distance. Part of me respected that. The other part noticed she'd been perfectly willing to rip off her scarf and cough me to death yesterday when she was angry. Selective quarantine protocols. This girl. I slurped down the rest and started giving her instructions through the door. I'm leaving for a few days. Eat what's here. Nobody should bother you. But if they do, just cough at them and wave around your bloody rags. They'll run faster than Olympic athletes. Keep the air flowing. Sun your blankets when the weather's good. If I don't come back and the food runs out, go to Uncle Dashin or Uncle Day's house and demand food. Silence from behind the door. Then bang. The door flew open. She was standing there gripping her shirt so hard her knuckles were white, eyes swimming with tears, looking like a porcelain doll someone left in the rain. Where are you going? Oh no? Oh no. I recognized that voice. That wasn't anger. That was abandonment trauma getting poked with a stick. 3 years ago, her entire family threw her in a cave and walked away. Now the one idiot who brought her home was giving what sounded like a farewell speech. She thought I was leaving her. Again. Something in my chest twisted. But I am physically incapable of handling emotions like a normal human being. So naturally, I said the worst possible thing. Aw, crying already? Miss me that much? Want to do the wedding night before I go? I told you. You're flat as a cutting board front and back. I literally cannot. Slam. Door shut. The tears were gone, replaced by the familiar sound of something being thrown at the door from inside. There she is. Angry is better than sad. Angry keeps you alive. I piled the remaining food by her door, enough for 6 or 7 days, and dropped one final insurance policy. If I come back and you're gone, I'm dragging your sister home in chains. Bang. Something else hit the door. Sounded heavier this time. People in this era really can't take a joke. Next stop, Uncle number 3, Linde. I needed hunting gear. The man used to be the village hunter, so he had everything. I walked in with my friendliest smile. Hey, third uncle. Third auntie. Everyone home. Their reaction was identical to everyone else's. Instant panic. Annie Wong Ho-Hot started her pre-robbery speech before I could even sit down. No money. No food. Please go rob someone else. I'm your third uncle for God's sake. Your little cousin hasn't eaten in 2 days. I'll kneel. I'm kneeling right now. Previous me really did a number on this family. According to my inherited memories, both uncle households were genuinely good people. After my parents died, they fed me, took care of me, gave me whatever they had, even when it meant their own kids went hungry. And how did original Lin Feng repay them? By graduating from asking to taking to openly robbing his own relatives on a regular schedule. I grabbed Auntie before she could hit the floor. I don't want money. I don't want food. Their faces went white. You want our lives? Murderer. He's going to kill us. Big brother. Open your eyes from heaven. I cannot win. Being nice means I'm planning something horrible. Being mean means I'm planning something horrible. There is no setting on my personality dial that doesn't terrify people. I slapped on my scariest face and roared. Shut up. I'm going into the deep mountains. Lend me the hunting rifle. Dead silence. The deep mountains? Third uncle's face froze mid-sob. He stared at me for a long moment, then quietly walked into the back room. I heard him dig around under the wardrobe. He came out holding 3 10-yuan bills, $30, probably a huge chunk of his savings, and shoved them at me. That's all we have. Spend it carefully. Auntie's face was pure heartbreak, but she said nothing. They thought I was going to die. That's what the money was. Not a loan. A funeral contribution. A goodbye gift. Uncle, I said I want the gun, not your money. Do you know how dangerous it is in there? His voice went hard. Cold. Serious for the first time. How did your father die? Did you forget? I hadn't forgotten. My old man, the original's father, went into those mountains because his brat's son threw a tantrum wanting meat. A bear killed him. When they found the body, it wasn't pretty. That memory hit different now. My chest felt heavy, but I had no choice. Tsuchioshin was dying. I was broke. The mountains were the only ATM that accepted my currency, which was violence. I pushed the money back into Annie's hands. I don't want cash. I'm going into that mountain. And if nothing else, I'm getting payback for my dad. Anyone tries to stop me, we're gonna have problems. I walked into the West Room and started loading up. Hunting rifle, check. Every bullet he had, check. Heavy hunting knife, check. Rope, compass, rain tarp, check, check, check. A beautiful, well-maintained bow hanging on the wall with a full quiver of arrows, definitely check. I walked out looking like a one-man army going to fight nature itself. At the door, I turned back and flashed my biggest grin. Third uncle, get ready to eat meat. Oh, and look after my wife while I'm gone. I left before he could respond. Behind me, I heard Third Annie's voice hit frequencies only dogs should hear. He actually has a wife? The TB wife? We're all going to die. And with that heartwarming family send-off, I headed for the mountains. One rifle, one knife, one bow, zero money, one dying wife at home, 50 years of future knowledge, and a body built like God was trying to speed-run the perfect predator. The deep mountains had bears, wolves, tigers, and wild boars. A third of the people who went in during the famine never came out. But you know what the deep mountains don't have? Crying relatives and people who think I'm about to murder them every time I smile. Honestly, the bears might be easier to deal with. Walking through the village fully strapped, rifle on my back, bow on my shoulder, knife on my belt, rope coiled up, I looked like a one-man invasion force. The farmers in the fields stared at me like I was a hallucination. Then the whispering started. And thanks to my superhuman hearing, I caught every word. What's the idiot doing? He's going hunting. Him? He's never been in the mountains once. Probably just gonna walk around the nearest hill for an hour and come back. If that fool catches anything, I'll eat poop standing on my head. Maybe he'll die in there like his dad. That'd be great. Let's go buy firecrackers to celebrate, you know what? I'm not even mad. At this point, the village hating me is just background noise. Like birds chirping, except the birds want me dead. At the village entrance, 5 massive dudes were squatting around smoking, geared up for hunting too. The Lin 5 brothers, Lin East, Lin West, Lin South, Lin North, and Lin Center. Yes, their dad literally named them after compass directions plus the middle. Creative parenting at its finest. All of them dark-skinned, jacked, and built like refrigerators with legs. They were the village's only professional hunting squad. Actual experienced hunters who went into the deep mountains regularly. Their old man, Lin Laowu, was the boss, 6'3", wider than his 5 sons, with tiger claw scars across his face. Tiger. Claws. The man had been scratched by a tiger and lived. The 5 brothers looked at my gear, looked at each other, and their lips curled up so high I thought their faces would flip inside out. Pure, undiluted disrespect. The kind of smirk that says, this clown is going to die in there, and we'll find his bones next spring. Professional pride, I guess. They'd spent their whole lives mastering the mountains, and here comes the village delinquent dressed up like a hunter for Halloween. The 5 of you. What are you looking at? They turned away but couldn't stop giggling. Their shoulders were literally shaking with suppressed laughter. It was like watching 5 giant toddlers trying not to laugh in church. Get over here before I rearrange your faces. They shuffled over real quick. Whatever their professional opinions were, they knew the pecking order when it came to fists. I could beat all 5 of them simultaneously and still have energy left to chase down their dad. Brother Foam. You're going hunting. We weren't laughing at you. We were telling jokes. Among ourselves. Separately. Yeah. Jokes. Funny jokes. I squinted. What joke? Tell me. Silence. Panicked eye contact between 5 grown men. Tell me now, or I start swinging. Lin North cracked under pressure. Once upon a time, a guy went into the mountains with a gun and a bow, and he didn't catch anything, and came home with his tail between. He trailed off as my eyes went nuclear. This fool was telling a joke about me. To my face. While I was standing right here, I was rolling up my sleeves when a deep voice cut through from behind. Lin Foam. The mountains aren't a playground. Old man Lin Laowu. Tiger scar face. Arms like tree trunks. staring at me like a disappointed grandfather. Stick to the hills nearby. The deep mountain will kill you. I appreciated the concern, I really did. But I had a dying wife, zero money, and no other options. Old man, I beat your 5 sons like they're kindergartners. A bear comes at me, I'll slap it into a wheelchair. Strength isn't what keeps you alive in there, he said calmly. Experiences. Getting lost kills more people than animals do. There's a large wolf pack roaming the area. You'd be walking in like a delivery meal. I looked him up and down. Then I noticed the gun on his back. An Eagle brand double-barrel shotgun. Top of the line. The king of hunting weapons in northern China, 1981. Impossible to buy. Perfect for taking down large game. I needed that gun like I needed oxygen. Let's make a bet, old man. This trip, whoever brings back more game wins. Me against all 6 of you. I win. I get your double barrel. Lin Laowu could tell I was dead set on going. His eyes narrowed. And if you lose, 1,500 yuan. The number left my mouth before my brain approved it. I don't even have 1,500 yuan. I don't have 15 cents. Whoever backs out isn't a man, Laowu agreed. But he added a condition. You travel with us. Safety in numbers. I'll even let you shoot first at anything we find. I saw right through him. The old man didn't care about the bet. He just didn't want me dying alone in there. Underneath that tiger-scarred face was a decent human being. This stupid village was full of people who secretly cared about me despite me being the worst person alive. But I had an image to maintain. As if I need babysitters. 7 days. Solo. We meet back here at the village entrance. Prepare to lose your gun, old man. I turned to the crowd of villagers who'd gathered, because apparently my life is a spectator sport, and yelled. Everyone, you're all witnesses. The crowd erupted in laughter. Deal. We're witnesses. Lin Feng, don't cry when you lose. Bring a coffin just in case. Ha ha ha. Nobody believed in me. Not one single person. 6 professional hunters versus 1 village thug with 0 experience. To them, the outcome was obvious. What they didn't know is that I binge-watched the entire survival series back in my old life. Every episode. Bear Grylls. Ed Stafford. Every hunting technique video. Every trap building tutorial. Every wilderness survival hack that ever existed on the internet. All of it burned crystal clear into my memory. I've got the body of a prehistoric apex predator and the brain of a man who spent way too much time on survival TikTok. This mountain doesn't stand a chance. Also, I literally bet money I don't have, so losing isn't really an option. If I lose, I owe 1,500 yuan. I currently own negative money. The math doesn't work unless I win. 7 days, old man. Have that gun polished for me. I marched into the forest without looking back. Behind me, old man Laowu shook his head, sighed, and led his 5 sons in after me. The hunt was on. First things first. Compass out, landmarks noted, knife marks on trees as I go. Breadcrumbs are for fairy tales. Real men carve arrows into bark. I ran through the forest all day. Literally ran. This body has the stamina of a diesel engine strapped to a cheetah. A full day of sprinting through mountain terrain, and I wasn't even tired. Just hungry. My stomach was screaming at me like an angry landlord demanding rent. Good news. By sunset, I was deep enough into the mountains where no villager had set foot in years. The real hunting grounds. Untouched wilderness. The promised land of things I can kill for money. I slowed down, pulled out the bow, and started tracking. Broken sapling ahead, fresh break. Ground dug up. Something had been rooting around for plant roots. I pieced together the trail from my mental library of survival videos and followed it. Then the smell hit me. A wave of the most aggressive, eye-watering goat stink I've ever experienced in 2 lifetimes. My nose almost filed for divorce from my face. Wild mountain goats. 7 or 8 of them, just ahead, barely visible in the fading light. The big alpha male was pawing at the ground like he owned the place. Tonight, we feast. I drew the bow. Aimed at the big boy. Released. The arrow landed in a tree, 3 meters away from the goat. The goat looked at the arrow. Looked at me. Looked back at the arrow. Probably judged me harder than the entire village combined. Okay, should have practiced with the bow first. Noted. The herd panicked and bolted. But here's the thing about my body. It's absurd. My legs exploded forward like rocket boosters, and I was on them in seconds. I was literally outrunning wild mountain goats. Mountain goats. Animals that are designed to run on mountains. And I was gaining on them like they were jogging. Knife out. Slash. One goat hit the dirt. Didn't even slow down. Kept sprinting. Tackled the big alpha from behind like a linebacker. Rolled onto my back. Knife across the throat. Done. 2 goats. One big, one small. Caught on foot. With a knife. After missing with a bow from 10 meters away. My archery, 0 out of 10. My just chase it down and stab it. Technique. Flawless. I cleaned them at a nearby stream, built a fire, and roasted 2 massive goat legs. Just salt. Nothing fancy. But when you're starving in the wilderness and hot meat fat is dripping into flames and the smell is filling the entire forest, it was the greatest meal of my life. Juicy, tender, smoky, with that wild game sweetness that no restaurant can replicate. 2 entire legs disappeared into my face. I sat there, greasy and satisfied, and burped loud enough to scare nearby wildlife. Wonder if my bargain wife ate dinner. Meanwhile, and I obviously didn't know this yet, but I can picture it. Back at my roofless house, Suchioshin was nibbling on a corn bun that was 50% sawdust, washing it down with hot water, and thinking it was the best meal she'd had in 3 years. 3 years of surviving on wild roots, tree bark, and whatever scraps her second sister smuggled to her. A scratchy corn bun was luxury dining for this girl. That jerk Linfoam, who knows where he ran off to. Hope he doesn't come back. Humph. Second sister, wherever you are, I miss you. And at Uncle Dashin's place, my 2 uncles were sitting together, chain-smoking, staring at each other with matching expressions of doom. Think he's really sleeping in the mountains tonight. The brat made a bet against 6 professional hunters. They get injured, even in groups. He's alone. If something happens to him, how do we face his parents in the afterlife? Please let the idiot just be wandering around the nearby hills. Sigh? Sigh. As long as he comes back alive. Sorry, uncles. Your beloved idiot nephew is currently 50 miles deep into tiger territory, licking goat grease off his fingers. That night, I built my camp using the method I learned from watching survival shows. Dug 2 long fire trenches. Stacked the wood in a pyramid pattern, hardwood on the bottom for slow burn, kindling on top for flame, arranged so air flows through. The fire burns all night without going out or going wild. Any predator sees the flames and nopes out. And if something is stupid enough to approach, my superhero senses would catch it. I laid down on dry grass, covered with the rain tarp, sandwiched between 2 warm fire trenches, and slept like a king. Thank you, Survival TV. Thank you, every bearded man who ever ate bugs on camera for my entertainment. Your knowledge is now saving my life. Woke up the next morning, fire still burning. 3 degrees outside. Didn't feel cold at all. The trenches worked perfectly. Breakfast? I'd buried chunks of goat meat in clay and cooked them under the fire pit overnight. Beggar's chicken technique, except with goat. Cracked open the clay shells and the aroma that came out. I almost cried. Tender, falling apart, impossibly juicy meat that had been slow cooking for 8 hours in its own sealed pocket of flavor. I ate 2 huge pieces, licked every finger twice, and packed up the rest. Hung the remaining meat and goat skins high in a tree, marked the location with landmarks, and prepared to move deeper. Day 1. 2 mountain goats, 0 arrows hitting targets, 1 bow that's basically decorative, and the discovery that I can outrun animals that were specifically evolved to run. 6 days left. A double-barrel shotgun to win. A wife to save. Money to make. Deeper we go. Day 2 priority. Fix my embarrassing archery. Yesterday, I missed a stationary goat from 20 meters by 3 meters. If anyone had seen that, I'd have to change my name and move to another mountain range. So I spent 2 hours shooting at a tree. Started at 10 meters, couldn't hit it. 10 meters. The tree was right there. How do you miss a tree? But this body learns fast. Scary fast. 2 hours later, I was nailing bullseyes from 50 meters. Went from, couldn't hit a barn, to, sniper, in 1 morning. This body isn't just strong. It's like a weapon learning machine. To celebrate, a wild pheasant exploded out of a tree above me. Lightning reflexes kicked in, drew, aimed, fired in half a second. 1 gray feather floated down and landed on my head. A crow sitting nearby went, caw-caw-caw, like it was laughing at me. Listen here, bird. I'm a good person now. Killing is wrong. I'm sparing you. Be grateful. Moving targets need more practice. Noted. But by the end of day 2, I'd bagged 7 pheasants, 6 rabbits, and 2 fat badgers. all using the bow. The badgers looked like little furry gas canisters, absolutely stuffed with winter fat. Everything out here was plump and ready for winter. Walking snacks, basically. I hung everything in a tree, marked the spot, kept moving deeper. Day 3, I found the jackpot. Moose tracks by a river. Fresh ones. I followed them for 2 hours, and there they were, a whole herd, 15 or so, drinking at the riverbank like a nature documentary. Now, northern moose are massive. 2 meters long. Almost 6 feet tall. Some weigh over 1,000 pounds. They look like God tried to design a horse, a cow, a deer, and a camel all at once, gave up halfway, and slapped a pig nose on it. Ugly, beautiful tank animals. The biggest bull in that herd was an absolute unit. Over 1,000 pounds easy. Quick math. That much meat sells for around 800 yuan. That's 4 months of Su Qiuxin's medicine. Standing right there. Drinking water. Not even looking at me. I raised the rifle. Waited for the big one to lower its head. Held my breath. Boom. The giant moose shuddered once and collapsed. Face first into the river. Blood mixing with the current. The herd scattered like bowling pins. I swung the barrel. Tracked a second big one sprinting away. Boom. It went down hard. Scrambled up. Stumbled forward. Collapsed again. 2,000-pound moose. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a good day. I was literally singing folk songs while I gutted them. Elbow deep in moose guts, belting out. Us common folks are happy today, like I was performing at a village festival. Total psychopath behavior, but I was too excited to care. Set up camp right there. Chopped off a huge front leg, roasted it over the fire. Salted it perfectly. The outside went crispy and golden, inside was tender and juicy, with a hint of pine smoke flavor. No gamey taste at all. I ate 10 pounds of meat in one sitting and wanted more. This body's appetite is as ridiculous as everything else about it. If I'd had some chili sauce and a beer, my soul would have literally left my body from happiness. That night, I decided, time to head back tomorrow. I had 2 massive moose, 1,500 pounds combined after gutting, 2 mountain goats, 7 pheasants, 6 rabbits, 2 badgers, enough to blow the Lin 5 brothers out of the water and fund Su Qiuxin's first round of treatment. I built my fire trenches, laid down, and passed out satisfied. Then, middle of the night, wolf howls. Distant. I ignored them. Wolves aren't stupid enough to approach a fire camp. But then the bushes started going crazy. Branches snapping, leaves thrashing, something big was bulldozing through the forest straight at me. Fast. Direct. Like a freight train made of angry. I grabbed the rifle so fast I almost pulled a muscle. Heart pounding. Adrenaline doing jumping jacks in my bloodstream. What the? Please don't be a bear. Please don't be a bear. A massive wild boar exploded out of the bushes like it was shot from a cannon. Bristles standing straight up, hooves tearing up dirt, sprinting at full speed, but not at me. It looked panicked, like it was running from something. It veered straight toward my fire. Wild animals are supposed to be terrified of fire. This pig was running to it. Like the flames were the safer option compared to whatever was behind it. What could possibly scare a 300-pound boar more than? Then every bush in every direction started shaking. All of them. At once. Oh no. So there I was, standing by my fire at 2 a.m., watching a 300-pound wild boar casually stroll up to my campfire and plop down like it was checking into a hotel. Excuse me, sir? Excuse me? Did you make a reservation? The pig didn't care. It was panting, wheezing, looking at me with these big dumb eyes like, please don't let them eat me. Because behind it, green lights. Dozens of them. Floating in the darkness like evil fireflies. Wolf eyes. I counted roughly. 20+ wolves. Surrounding my camp in a slow circle, testing the edge of the firelight, snarling. 20 sets of teeth attached to 20 bundles of pure murder instinct. This PIG had led an entire wolf pack straight to my front door like some kind of furry GPS for predators. You did this. You brought them here. The pig said nothing. It was eyeing my moose meat. Don't you dare touch my moose. I'm literally fighting for my life, and you're shopping. 3 or 4 wolves. I'd carve them up like vegetables. But 20? That's a different math problem entirely. No time for math. First one charged. Boom. Got shot. Wolf exploded like a blood piñata. The pack retreated for about 10 seconds, then circled back. A few bold ones dragged the dead wolf into the bushes and started eating it. Their own teammate. While it was still warm. These animals have zero loyalty. I didn't wait for reviews. Aimed at the bushes where the chewing sounds were coming from and unleashed everything. Boom, boom, boom. Howls, screams, chaos. I couldn't see what I was hitting, just fired wherever green eyes appeared. Reload behind the fire. Rush back. Fire again. Reload. Fire. My hands were moving on autopilot. Meanwhile, my uninvited pork guest was still lying by the fire, completely unbothered by the gunshots happening 3 feet from its face. Either this pig was deaf or it had made a philosophical decision that the fire zone was safer than anywhere else, and no amount of explosions would change its mind. Then the alpha howled, and everything changed. The remaining wolves stopped circling and charged. All at once. Over 10 of them. A synchronized death sprint straight at me. Boom, boom, 2 headshots. 2 wolves down. But the next ones were already airborne. No time to reload. I swung the rifle like a baseball bat. Connected with a wolf skull. The thing crumpled. I tossed the gun, ducked under a lunging wolf, ripped out my hunting knife, and stabbed another one through the eyeball. My brain hadn't even caught up yet. My body was running on pure animal instinct. Adrenaline turned my blood into rocket fuel. I was slashing, stabbing, dodging. 4 wolves went down before I even processed what was happening. Grabbed the 5th one by the throat with my bare hand and gutted it with the knife. Blood everywhere. Mine, theirs, couldn't tell anymore. Then, from behind, the biggest wolf launched at my neck. The kill shot. The one I didn't see coming. I'm dead, wham. The PIG. The stupid, freeloading, moose meat staring pig rocketed off the ground like a furry cannonball and slammed into the alpha wolf midair. Full body tackle. The wolf went flying, hit the ground, tried to stand, but its back legs wouldn't move. The pig had broken its spine in one hit. BRO. Pig BRO. That was incredible. The alpha's dying howl scattered the entire pack instantly. Every surviving wolf turned tail and vanished into the darkness like they'd received a company-wide email titled, "Abort Mission." I walked over, reloaded, and put a bullet in the alpha to finish the job. Then I looked at my unlikely savior. The pig had waddled back to the fire and flopped down like absolutely nothing happened. Already getting comfortable again. Picked the warm side too, the smart little psycho. You know what, fine. You earned one night. But in the morning, scram, I counted the wolf bodies. 7. I lined them up in a row. 7 wolves. A 7-wolf combo. I'm basically a one-man pest control company. Wolf skin is valuable though, warm, thick, perfect for bedding. So I spent the rest of the night skinning all 7, pulling out the tendons, even knocking out the fangs for souvenirs. Full processing line. By dawn, I figured I should try wolf meat since I'd never had it. Cut off a leg, roasted it nice and golden. Looked great. Smelled okay-ish. Took one massive bite, and immediately spat it across the camp. BLEHH. Imagine chewing on a tire that was marinated in sewer water, wrapped in century-old foot rags, then seasoned with the essence of regret. Tough, gamey, sour, musky, and somehow all of those terrible things at the same time. This isn't meat. This is a punishment. I threw the leg aside and started packing. Built a sled, loaded up the 2 moose, 1,500 pounds of actual good meat, and started dragging it back toward the village. I took 3 steps. Heard snuffling behind me. The pig picked up the discarded wolf leg in its mouth, trotted up behind me, and fell into step like a loyal dog. Are you serious right now? You're following me? I kicked it. It didn't move. Kicked it again. Rolled over. Got back up. Kept following. You have Stockholm Syndrome. You know that, right? I'm your captor, not your friend. Go be a pig somewhere else. It grunted happily, chewing on the wolf leg I couldn't stomach, trotting behind me like we'd been buddies for years. Fine. Fine. I have a pet pig now. Added to the list. Dying wife. No money. Broken house. No doors. 2 uncles with PTSD. A village that runs from me. And now a 300-pound emotional support boar who thinks I'm its mom. Then, 2 hours into dragging my sled, I took a break, turned around casually, and saw the pig chewing on a small root it had dug up. I squinted. Looked closer. Brain engaged. Wait. Holy. I saw what was in that pig's mouth and my brain short-circuited. I launched myself at 300 pounds of pork like a guided missile. Tackled it to the ground. Pinned it. The pig screamed. I think it thought I was doing something unspeakable to it, but I didn't care. I pried open its stupid jaws and yanked out the thing it was chewing on. Wild ginseng. Wild. Mountain. Ginseng. As thick as a child's arm. Worth at least 3,000 yuan. Enough to pay for Su Qiuxin's medicine for over a year. And this pig had been chewing it like bubble gum. I looked at the mangled, slobber-covered, thoroughly destroyed root in my hand. What used to be a fortune was now a chewed-up mess of pig saliva and shattered dreams. You ate my 3,000 yuan. Do you know what you've done? Do pigs even understand money? That was my wife's medicine. My house repairs. My winter coat. I fell to my knees. Actual knees. On the actual ground. And wailed at the sky like I'd lost a family member. The pig hid behind a tree and peeked at me with guilty little eyes, its butt clenched in terror. After I finished grieving, I grabbed it by the ear and shoved the destroyed ginseng in its face. You? Oh, me. You're going to find me another one. Or I swear on everything holy, you and I are meeting at the dinner table. I will turn you into pulled pork, and I swear, this pig understood. It started sniffing the ground like its life depended on it. Which it did. See, here's the thing about pigs. Their sense of smell is 50 times stronger than humans. They can detect stuff buried meters underground from kilometers away. In France, people use pigs to find truffles. My pig was basically a four-legged metal detector for valuable roots. 2 hours later, it stopped and started digging. I shoved it aside so hard it almost rolled down a hill, dropped to my hands and knees, and started excavating with a stick like the world's most unhinged archaeologist. Dug and dug and dug. Nothing resembling ginseng. Was about to give up when I hit something round and black. I pulled it out. Sniffed it. Earthy. Fermented. Pungent. Black truffle? This size. This quality. I'm rich. Wait. This is 1981. In 1981 China, nobody knows what truffles are. Nobody. There are no fancy French restaurants. There are no celebrity chefs drizzling truffle oil on things. This isn't a rare delicacy worth its weight in gold. This is what locals call pig root mushroom. Market price, 1 mao. 4 tenjin. That's basically 1 cent per pound. Pig food. Literal pig food. I was holding a fortune that wouldn't exist for another 20 years. You, pig. I will end your bloodline. I tackled it again. Beat it up properly this time. Not enough to cause real damage, but enough to express my profound disappointment in its treasure-hunting abilities. Next day, it found something else. I rushed over, shoved it aside, started digging with my heart pounding. Gastrodia root. Medicinal, sure. 20 yuan per gene. Not bad, but not the life-changing jackpot I needed. I glared at the pig like it had personally insulted my ancestors. You think this is acceptable? Last chance before you become barbecue. The pig grunted. I hate this pig. I also can't kill this pig because it's my only ginseng detecting technology. Then, one more day, it stopped again. Started digging under a big tree. I sprinted over, threw it aside with the rage of a man who'd been emotionally destroyed by a pig 3 times already, and started scraping dirt with my stick. A flash of yellow appeared in the soil. My hand started shaking. Day 8. I wasn't back yet. The bet was 7 days. I was late. Back at the village entrance, the Lin 5 brothers were squatting around smoking, waiting. Think he's dead? Probably lost. Once you go wrong in there, you're done. Good riddance, honestly. One less menace. I kinda want him alive, though. He owes us 1,500 yuan. Dad wants to use that money for Big Brother's bride price. The village gathered around like it was a social event. Everyone heard about the hunting team's haul. 30-plus small animals, a roe deer, bags of herbs. A great trip. Meanwhile, the guy who bet against them was 2 days overdue and presumed dead. He's never even held a gun before. Bear probably got him. Just like his dad. Finally, my wife can sleep without locking the door. Someone go buy firecrackers. Celebration time. That was the second time someone suggested buying firecrackers for my death. This village really, truly, from the bottom of their hearts, wanted me gone. But 2 people weren't celebrating. Uncle Dashin and Uncle Day had been standing at the village entrance since dawn, staring at the tree line, waiting for their idiot nephew to walk out of those mountains alive. When someone cracked another joke about me being dead, Uncle Dashin snapped. Say he's dead one more time, and I'll beat your face in. And then both my uncles started fighting the villagers. Actual punches. These 2 soft-hearted men who cry when I steal their blankets. throwing hands because strangers were celebrating my death. I don't deserve these uncles. I really don't. And somewhere further back, leaning on a walking stick at the edge of the village, a thin figure with tired eyes stared out toward the mountains. Waiting. So that flash of yellow in the dirt? Let me back up and tell you what happened before I came home. The pig found me something real. Something that made me forgive every chewed-up ginseng, every worthless truffle, every mediocre herb find. But I'll get to that. Day 9. I was supposed to be back on day 7. I was hauling a sled loaded with 2 gutted moose, a roe deer, over a dozen rabbits and pheasants, 7 wolf pelts, 2 mountain goats, and assorted other dead things. Plus a 300-pound wild boar who refused to leave me alone and demanded roasted meat for every meal like some kind of pork royalty. The pig and I took turns pulling. Walk 30 minutes, rest 30 minutes. It was like the world's worst road trip with the world's worst travel companion, one that snorts, smells terrible, and ate 3,000 yuan worth of ginseng. Finally, on the afternoon of day 9, a day and a half late, I dragged my mountain of dead animals to the village entrance. And what did I find? My 2 uncles getting beaten up. They were on the ground, faces swollen, getting pummeled by villagers. Why? Because apparently the whole village had spent 9 days celebrating my death, and my uncles were the only 2 people who objected to the festivities. Someone suggested buying firecrackers, again, and Uncle Dashin finally snapped and started throwing punches. Uncle Day joined in. They were outnumbered. They were losing. Badly. My shirt was gone, destroyed somewhere in the wilderness, so I walked up shirtless, muscles gleaming in the afternoon sun, dragging a sled that left trenches in the dirt, and announced myself. Hey, uncles, what's going on here? Getting your butts kicked? That's embarrassing. Step aside. Let your nephew handle this. Every single person froze. The guys punching my uncles. The 5 brothers. The whole crowd. Statues. Every mouth hanging open. Uncle Dashin scrambled up and ran to me like I was a hallucination he needed to touch to confirm. You're not dead? Third uncle, the former hunter, looked past me at the sled and his eyes nearly fell out of his skull. Did you hunt all of this? The 5 brothers stared at my haul with expressions I can only describe as existential crisis. 2 moose, each one bigger than anything their whole team had ever brought back. Roe deer, rabbits, pheasants, wolf pelts, mountain goat, piled so high the sled looked like a small building. How did you even pull this back? You're not human, Lynn North stammered. Natural-born strength, baby. What can I say? I punched a bear in the face out there, and it cried. Would have finished it off, but it ran too fast. You're so full of it. Uncle Dashin laughed, but he was beaming. Both uncles were practically glowing with pride, ignoring their own black eyes and busted lips. The surrounding villagers? Pure jealousy. Eyes bloodshot, mouths watering. 5 minutes ago, they were buying firecrackers for my funeral, and now they were staring at more meat than they'd seen in a year. Quick, let's get this home before someone tries something. Uncle Dashin started pushing the sled. Uncle Day joined. Both of them shoved with everything they had. The sled didn't move. Not 1 inch. Their faces turned tomato red from effort. It was like watching 2 guys try to push a parked truck. Awkward. Because I just bragged about dragging it solo through 50 miles of mountain terrain, which was not entirely accurate. Uncles, hold on. Let me call my assistant. Assistant? You said you did it alone. I did do it alone. My assistant isn't technically a person. I whistled. From the tree line. Huff, 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 the ground started shaking. Bushes parting. Dirt flying. And out of the forest charged 280 pounds of wild boar, tusks gleaming, hooves thundering, barreling toward the village entrance like a runaway freight train. The village detonated. Wild boar. Giant wild boar. Get the guns. Are you crazy? Run. That thing will gut you. 1 pig, 2 bears, 3 tigers. A grown boar beats a bear. Run, run, run. Every single person vanished in about 4 seconds. Gone. Evaporated. The village entrance went from a crowd of 30 to completely empty faster than I've ever seen humans move. My uncle's legs were shaking so hard they looked like they were vibrating. But they noticed I wasn't running, so they stayed put. Barely. Uncle Dashin's voice came out about 3 octaves higher than normal. It's coming this way. Relax. The pig galloped up to me, skidded to a halt, and rubbed its massive head against my leg like a big, ugly dog. I tied the rope harness on it, practiced move by now, and hooked it to the sled. The pig started pulling. The sled moved. Problem solved. My uncle stood there, mouths open so wide birds could have nested inside. People bring hunting dogs, Uncle Day whispered. Who brings a hunting pig? I caught a glimpse of something as I started walking. A thin figure with a walking stick, standing far away at the edge of the village, watching. Su Chioshin. She'd come outside. Despite hating the outdoors. Despite every villager pointing and whispering. Despite being terrified of the world that had thrown her away. She'd come out to wait for me. The village said I was dead. She came to check anyway. By the time I looked properly, she was gone. Slipped back inside like she'd never been there. Let's go home. Uncle. Auntie. Take whatever meat you want. Your families are eating good tonight. Yes. Okay. Great. They agreed enthusiastically, but neither of them could stop staring at the pig pulling a 1,000-pound sled like it was a shopping cart, grunting happily, trotting along beside me like we'd been partners for years. People bring dogs to hunt. I brought home the pig instead. This is my life now. Walked into my yard like a conquering hero. Shirtless. Jacked. Dragging a sled of dead animals behind me with a wild boar as my co-pilot. Su Chioshin was sitting on the only stool we owned, watching me with those star-bright eyes, trying so hard to look unbothered but failing miserably. Wifey, I'm home. Did you miss me? Couldn't sleep, right? I saw you at the village entrance playing the role of faithful wife waiting on the rock. Very romantic. Very dramatic. Very much because we haven't done the wedding night yet, and you're clearly desperate for. If looks could kill, I would have died, been resurrected, and died again 1,000 times. She coughed twice, aggressively, pointedly, glared at me hard enough to leave a bruise on my soul, then grabbed her walking stick and hobbled back inside. Door closed. Conversation over. But I noticed something. She was weaker than when I left. Way weaker. And when I checked the food supplies, the bag was empty. Bone dry. Not a grain of millet left. I'd been gone 8 days. I left enough food for 6 or 7, which meant this stubborn, proud, infuriating girl had been starving for at least 2 days. I told her to go to my uncle's houses if she ran out. But of course she didn't. Because asking for help would require her to admit she needed something from someone. And Su Chioshin would rather literally starve to death than do that. She walked to the village entrance, where everyone hates her, fears her disease, and points at her like she's cursed, on an empty stomach, with barely enough strength to stand, just to check if I was alive. And then she went back inside and pretended she didn't care. This girl is going to be the death of me, not the tuberculosis. Her personality. My fault. I should have been back sooner. I kept my voice light. But hey, you were so worried about me you dragged yourself to the village entrance while starving. That's love. That's passion. Hold on. Let me cook you something. Bang. Something hit the door from inside. Our love language. I chopped off a mountain goat leg and threw it in the pot to stew. Meanwhile, the pig, I can't stop calling it second brother, was exploring the yard like it was house shopping. It sniffed every corner, inspected the collapsed wall, rooted around in the dirt, and finally settled into a spot by the broken section like it was picking its bedroom. Made itself right at home. Zero hesitation. This pig moved in faster than my actual wife did. I turned to the sled and started the inventory meeting with my uncles. 2 moose, 2 roe deer, 12 pheasants, 15 rabbits, 2 mountain goats, 3 badgers, and 1 uninvited pig who won't leave. The moose I'm selling in town. The rest, we split 3 ways. Your families eat meat tonight. Both uncles immediately started their humble routine. No, we can't. You risked your life. Just give us 1 chicken. I tried being nice about it. Didn't work. They kept refusing. So I switched to the only language this family understands. I blocked the doorway, cracked my knuckles, and gave them my scariest psychopath face. Take the meat or I break something. Your choice. We'll take it. Splitting now. Right now. Works every time. I'm starting to think intimidation is just my love language for everyone, not just my wife. Third uncle grabbed the hunting knife and went to work on the meat like a surgeon. The man hadn't lost his touch, skinning, deboning, separating cuts like a professional butcher doing a speed run. Beautiful craftsmanship. Then Uncle Dave flipped the last layer on the sled and his voice cracked. Wolf pelts? These are wolf skins. You ran into a wolf pack? I leaned back and hit them with my most casual shrug. Oh, those. Yeah, Small pack. 20-something wolves. No big deal. One hand per wolf. Slice and dice. Chop them up like vegetables. See the biggest pelt? That's the alpha. Took him out personally. Both uncles looked at me like I'd just told them I wrestled the sun. 20 wolves is a small pack to you. I also punched 3 bears. The wolves were a warm-up. Were they looking at me with admiration or concern for my mental health? Honestly, probably both. But they were too excited about the meat to argue. Oh, third uncle. Take all the wolf pelts home and process them. Make a wolfskin mattress pad. For my wife. Winter's coming and she needs warmth. From inside the house, I heard a tiny humph. Su Qiuxin was eavesdropping, pretending not to care while absolutely listening to every word. Girl heard, wolfskin mattress for her, and tried to stay cold about it, but I know that humph had warmth in it. I've been studying her humphs. That was a grade B reluctantly touched humph. Progress. Look, am I doing all this out of pure selfless kindness? Let me be honest. This girl is the most beautiful human being in 2 timelines. Once she's healthy, fed, and glowing, she'll be the kind of gorgeous that stops traffic and starts legends. I am investing. Every bowl of soup, every wolf skin blanket, every medicine pill, it's all strategic. Capture the heart, secure the beauty, achieve lifetime happiness. Simple math. Cure the girl, win the girl. The uncles brought their families to haul the meat home. Auntie and the cousins showed up, saw the mountain of food, and their eyes turned into slot machine jackpots. They praised me so hard I almost believed I was a good person. Nobody wanted to leave. They lingered and lingered and lingered, until Su Qiuxin started coughing from inside the house. Loud, sustained, aggressive coughing. Everyone scattered like roaches when the lights turn on. Was she coughing for real, or was she weaponizing her tuberculosis to clear out unwanted guests? I genuinely couldn't tell. Either way, effective. An hour later, the lamb stew was perfect. Tender, falling apart, swimming in rich broth. I filled a bowl and set it outside her door. Bargain wife. Dinner. Silence. Hey, food's ready. Nothing. Hello? Anyone home? Dead quiet. The nice approach was getting me nowhere. Again. Fine. Nuclear option. You know, these 2 moose are worth at least 1,500 yuan. I was going to use it all on your medicine. But if someone starves herself to death, I guess I'll just keep the money. Nothing. Or maybe I'll go find your second sister. I bet SHE knows how to eat when food is offered. I bet she'd even give me sons. 1,500 yuan is enough to track down one runaway bride. Easy. The door exploded open. Never fails. The sister card is my undefeated, undisputed, championship belt-holding trump card. 3 for 3. I should patent this technique. Su Qiuxin was standing in the doorway, eyes burning with the fury of 1,000 suns, looking like an angry kitten that had just been told its favorite toy was getting donated. You promised to leave my sister alone. I put on my best scumbag face. I did promise. The condition was you being my wife. If you starve yourself to death, the deal's off. No wife, no deal. I go find sister number 2. Simple contract law. Then, because I have absolutely no self-control, I kept going. Speaking of your sister, everyone says she's the prettiest girl in 10 villages. I was too drunk during the proposal to get a proper look. Is she really that beautiful? Curvy? I like curvy. Her eyes went from angry to volcanic. She looked like a kitten trying to become a tiger through sheer willpower alone. In your dreams, she grabbed the bowl of lamb stew, slammed the door hard enough to shake dust off the ceiling beams, and yelled through the wall, "And I don't need you to cure my disease." Then she started coughing so violently it undermined her entire dramatic exit. Here's what she didn't know I understood. She wasn't just angry about me being crude. Her second sister was the only person who ever showed her love. The only light in 3 years of darkness. Sitting outside that cave, bringing food, telling funny stories, pretending everything was fine when nothing was. That sister cried about being forced to marry the worst man alive, meaning me, and Su Qiuxin told her to run. Now she was terrified that if SHE died, I'd actually go hunt down her sister. So she had to stay alive. Not for herself, for her sister's freedom. She needed to survive long enough for Xiahe to disappear forever. Whatever gets you eating, sweetheart. I don't care about the reason. Just eat. 5 minutes later, a bowl appeared at the door crack. More. I filled it to the brim. A pale white arm reached out, snatched it, and disappeared. Oomph, that's my girl. Eat your anger. Let the rage fuel your appetite. That night, lying on my hay bed, staring at the moon through my complimentary skylight, something nagged at me. Blurry memories from the original Lin Feng. Something about two women. Beautiful women. Educated city girls who'd been sent to the countryside during the movement. Sent down youth, they called them. An original Lin Feng had apparently done something bad to them. Forced something. The memory was too fractured to piece together, but it left a sick feeling in my gut. By 81, all the sent-down youth had returned to the cities. Whatever happened, those women were gone, probably never coming back. I shoved the thought away and went to sleep. Some inherited memories are better left buried. Next morning, I slept until the sun was practically overhead. 9 days of mountain survival finally caught up with me. Washed my face, stretched, walked outside, and found a standoff. Su Qiuxin, barely able to stand, was holding her walking stick like a sword, pointing it at second brother the pig, who was pawing the ground and snorting like a bull about to charge. Behind her, a pot of stewing meat bubbled over the fire. The pig wanted that meat. My wife had chosen violence. A 90-pound sick girl versus a 300-pound wild boar. David versus Goliath, except David has tuberculosis and Goliath has tusks. All right, I forgot to feed the pig last night. My bad. Well. My wife's a warrior. Defending the family dinner with a stick. She heard my voice and immediately deflated. The adrenaline drained out. Her stick drooped, her knees buckled, and she started falling. I crossed the yard in 2 steps and caught her. She landed against my chest, light as a paper crane. You almost got yourself killed over soup. You weigh less than the stick you were fighting with. Second brother would have flattened you like a pancake. She was pressed against me again, and I felt her relax for just a second. That involuntary moment of safety. Then she realized what was happening and started squirming. Now, a normal person would have said something sweet, something reassuring, something worthy of this moment. I said, relax, it's not like I enjoy holding you. You're all bones. Hugging you is like hugging a fence post. Even with my hand on your, but I can't find 2 ounces of actual. She went from mildly embarrassed to homicidal in 0.3 seconds. Started hammering my chest with her tiny fists like a woodpecker attacking a redwood. Completely ineffective, but extremely passionate. Then I turned to the pig. Hey, second brother. This is my wife. You have to listen to her from now on too. Come on. Call her mommy. The pig waddled over, sniffed Su Qiuxin curiously, and grunted. She lost her mind. Started punching me harder. Who tells a pig to call someone mommy? I introduced them properly. His name is second brother. We're a family now. You, me, and 300 pounds of emotional support pork. More coughing. More punching. More glaring with those impossibly beautiful star eyes that could set fire to things and still look gorgeous doing it. I carried her back to her room before the coughing got worse. Set her down gently. Walked out. Something hit the door behind me. Our daily ritual. Second brother tried to cuddle up to me next. I shoved it away immediately. Back off. If you could turn into a beautiful woman, I'd carry you too. Until then, personal space. I cut 10 pounds of roe deer meat, dumped it in a broken basin with leftover lamb broth, and slid it to the pig. It ate like a vacuum cleaner with a snout. After breakfast, I organized the remaining haul and pulled out a small cloth bundle I'd been keeping close to my chest. Checked it carefully, undamaged. Good. This little package was important. Very important. The thing the pig found on that last dig. The flash of yellow in the dirt. I tucked it away safely, looked towards Su Qiuxin's door, and called out. Hey, wife. Pack your stuff. We're going to the city. Uncle Dashin dropped off a flatbed cart yesterday. My luxury limousine for the trip to town. No engine, no horse, no donkey. Just me, my legs, and a half-day walk through the mountains. Welcome to 1981 rural transportation, where the most advanced vehicle in the entire village is the party secretary's second-hand bicycle, and that was a government gift. I loaded up the cart. 900 pounds of moose meat, 50 pounds of roe deer, for pheasants, 5 rabbits, all butchered and wrapped in cloth by third uncle, who sliced everything up like a surgeon on a cooking show. Kept 1 moose at home for second brother's bottomless stomach, plus the mountain goat for us. Piled hay on the front of the cart for passenger seating. Then I opened Su Qiuxin's door. Let's go. City trip. She was curled in her corner like a hedgehog that had given up on life. Didn't move. Didn't blink. I'm not going. I don't owe you anything. You don't owe me anything. She knew what this trip meant. She knew medicine costs a fortune. Her sister had already looked into it and come back with the eyes of someone who'd just seen the price tag on staying alive. Su Qiuxin refused to become a debt she couldn't repay, which is exactly what I wanted. Can't repay me with money? There's always the option of repaying with a lifetime of marriage. I am a strategist, a long-term investor in the beauty market. My intentions are pure. Well, purely self-interested, but in a romantic way. Remember your sister? You know what happens if you... She glared at me like she was trying to melt my face with her eyeballs. Didn't matter. I scooped her up, carried her to the cart, deposited her on the hay, wrapped her in the thick blanket like a human burrito, and started walking. Second brother, stay home. Guard the house. Food's in the bowl. Don't eat it all at once. The pig tried to follow. I kicked it 3 times before it got the message. It sat down with this pathetic look on its face, like a dog watching its owner leave for work. Except it was a 300-pound wild boar with tusks. Heartbreaking and terrifying simultaneously. Su Qiuxin tried to jump off the cart. I caught her in 2 steps, stuffed her back in, and kept pulling. She struggled for about 30 seconds, then gave up, wrapped in her blanket cocoon with just her head poking out, staring at my back with an expression I couldn't read. This girl genuinely couldn't figure me out. Everyone told her I was the devil, the worst human being in 10 villages. A creature so foul that babies cried and dogs hid. But here I was, hauling her to the city to buy medicine she couldn't afford, for a disease her own family wouldn't treat, using money I earned by almost dying in the mountains. Bad person? Good person? She had no category for me. Then the village commentary began. My personal Greek chorus of haters. Look, the madman's leaving. Is that the TB girl on the cart? He's probably going to sell her. Who'd buy a TB patient? You'd have to be suicidal. Maybe city people are into that kind of thing. Good riddance. Get that disease out of our village. I heard she's not a good girl anyway. Who knows where she caught it? Both sisters are foxes, if you know what I mean. He probably wants both sisters, the sick freak. You think he's actually taking her for treatment? Ha! The whole crowd laughed like it was the funniest joke of the year. Lin Feng, the village menace, spending money to help someone? Comedy gold. Absolutely hilarious. More likely the moon would fall out of the sky. I heard everything. Su Qiuxin heard everything too. She slowly sank into the blanket until she disappeared completely. Just a lump of fabric on a cart, hiding from a world that had never once been kind to her. My jaw tightened. I stopped the cart and turned around. Hey, all of you, nothing better to do? Running your mouths like a bunch of gossiping grannies? Shut it. I see every single one of you. And tonight, I'm visiting your wives. In their beds. We'll settle this there. Every head dropped. Every body scattered. Gone in 5 seconds. Because the terrifying thing was, they absolutely believed I would do it. My reputation was so catastrophically bad that I'll sleep with your wives as punishment was considered a credible threat. A few of the village wives, though, I caught them looking at my shirtless torso with expressions that were not fear. Ma'ams, please. I'm a married man. Sort of. We cleared the village, crossed the river heading southeast. Half a day's walk to Linjiang County. After a while, I checked on Su Qiuxin, still buried in the blanket. Not moving, just quiet, suppressed coughing. Those villagers' words had hit her where it hurt most. Her pride, her dignity, the last scraps of self-worth she was clinging to. A sick girl who'd been abandoned, caged in a cave, called dirty, called cursed, called a fox, called worse. And she'd just heard it all again, fresh, in front of the one person she was trying not to care about. She was spiraling. I could feel it. Kindness wouldn't work. Logic wouldn't work. Threats about her sister were getting stale. I needed something so outrageous, so mortifying, so absolutely unforgivable that it would yank her out of her own head by sheer force of embarrassment. I cleared my throat, and I started singing. Oh, my darling sits on the bed, and your man pulls the cart ahead. Me and Qiuxin, love so sweet swinging along down the street, mountain folk songs. The kind farmers belt out across the fields. Except I rewrote every lyric to be about me and Su Qiuxin, by name. Moonlight comes, and I find the hay dive right in, and I call my bae. Singing for Qiuxin, she hears my voice, she dives in the blanket. That's her choice. Passers-by on the road were staring. Some laughed. Some young women spat on the ground, faces cherry red, calling me shameless. This was 1980s conservative rural China. What I was doing was basically public indecency through the medium of folk music. Hug her tight, and hug her more. Hugging Qiuxin, she laughs on the floor. Hug, hug, hug in the blanket tonight. OHHH Qiuxin, everything's all right. Inside the blanket, I could see the lump vibrating. Not from cold, from rage. Pure, concentrated, life-sustaining fury. Her fingernails were probably drawing blood from her own palms. Every cell in her body was converting humiliation into the will to live, specifically, to live long enough to kill me. Carrying Qiuxin up to the bed, OHHHHH, the blanket erupted. Su Qiuxin burst out like a volcano of skinny fury, face red as a sunset, veins popping, and screamed, Lin Feng. Sing one more word, and I will beat you to death. Full voice. Full volume. Zero coughing. I grinned and kept walking. See that? 5 minutes ago she was drowning in despair, suffocating under shame, ready to disappear forever. Now she had enough lung power to threaten murder at the top of her voice. Anger is medicine. Embarrassment is therapy. And I am the worst doctor in the world, but my patients always survive. Su Qiuxin sat on the cart behind me, silently plotting my murder. The singing had worked perfectly. She'd gone from ready to disappear into the blanket forever, to ready to strangle me with the blanket. Emotional upgrade complete. I pulled the cart for 4 hours straight without stopping. Somewhere along the way, the sun broke through the trees in these warm golden stripes, and I caught myself smiling like an idiot. No phone, no mortgage, no office politics, no soul-crushing commute. Just sunlight, mountain air, and a girl on a cart who wanted me dead. Honestly, most peaceful I'd felt in either lifetime. 15 years of corporate slavery in my old life, clawing my way from worker bee to small business owner, thinking that was success. Turns out success is pulling a meat wagon through the mountains while a tuberculosis patient glares holes in the back of your skull. Behind me, Su Qiuxin accidentally caught my dumb sunshine grin. I didn't see her reaction, but the angry energy dimmed for exactly half a second. Then she remembered she hated me and resumed glaring. We rolled into Linjiang County around noon. After years of village life, a small county town felt like Times Square. People everywhere. Bicycles, actual bicycles, Flying Pigeon, Phoenix, Forever brands zipping past like luxury sports cars. In the village, seeing a bike was like seeing a UFO. Here they were common as shoes. Everyone dressed in military green, black, gray, or blue. No fashion, no style, just functional fabric shaped vaguely like clothing. The occasional guy with slightly nicer clothes and clean skin would turn heads like a movie star walking the red carpet. The bar was underground. Wall slogans everywhere. Fewer births, better births, happy life, and family planning benefits the nation. Very romantic public decor. I scanned the streets for where to sell my meat and immediately hit a wall. State-run shops only. State-run grocery, state-run supply co-op, state-run everything. Private businesses? I counted 2 in the entire town. A breakfast stall and a repair shop. That's it. In 1981, being an entrepreneur was basically a crime against social harmony. Your own family would break your legs for the shame. And me? Rural household registration. Couldn't even apply for a business license. City residents only. If I set up a meat stand on the street, I'd be arrested for speculation and profiteering before the first customer showed up. The state supply co-op wouldn't touch wild moose meat either. They only dealt in government-approved, properly documented goods. My 1,000 pounds of mountain meat had 0 paperwork and 0 legitimacy. So, I needed a back door. I spent the entire afternoon wandering the streets, looking casual, Su Qiuxin sitting quietly on the cart with her scarf tight over her face, curious but not asking questions. Smart girl. She could tell I was hunting for something. Around 4 o'clock, I found my prey. A pack of street thugs, led by some guy with a perm, leather jacket, cigarette dangling from his lip, strutting down the main road like he owned the zip code. 7 or 8 goons trailing behind him, all dressed the same way, the 1981 equivalent of a street gang. My people. Well, the old me's people. Fellow degenerates. Professional troublemakers. Men who knew how to move goods that couldn't be moved through official channels. I followed them for hours. Watched them shake down shopkeepers. Watched them eat at a restaurant and bolt without paying after smacking the waitress. Real charming individuals. Model citizens. When night fell, they ducked into a dark alley. I followed them right in. Halfway through, they surrounded me. 15 guys now. More had appeared from the shadows. Classic ambush formation. Very dramatic. Perm guy stepped forward, acting cool. Hey buddy, you've been tailing us all afternoon. We don't know your face. Which crew are you with? I set down the card handles and smiled. No bad intentions. Just networking. Networking? He looked me up and down. Patch green jacket. Faded gray pants. Shoes with holes. I looked like a potato farmer who'd accidentally wandered into civilization. You know the rules? Who sent you? Old habits die hard. My mouth moved before my brain approved. Rules? My rules are the rules. The entire alley went quiet. Did this country bumpkin just? He's dead. Who does this hick think? Someone pulled back the cloth on my cart. His eyes went wide as dinner plates. Boss, it's meat. An entire cart of meat, and there's a woman. Tsuchiyoshin, bless her, didn't flinch. Surrounded by 15 angry men in a dark alley. She sat there like she was waiting for a bus. Why would she be scared? She had the deadliest weapon in 1981 China, tuberculosis. One cough, and this alley would empty faster than a fire drill. Perm guy's eyes went full predator mode. Meat was gold in 1981. City residents got £2 per month on ration tickets. I had nearly 1,000 pounds on that cart. This was like parking a Brinks truck in front of a gang hideout. His boys were practically drooling, fists clenching, waiting for the order. But Perm guy was smarter than his haircut suggested. Something about a stranger who walks into an ambush on purpose didn't sit right with him. So what's your angle? You trying to sell us this meat? Wrong buyers, pal. I laughed. I told you. Just networking. You guys are so slow about this. Are you going to rob me or not? If yes, hurry up. His face twisted. You know we're criminals, and you walked in here? Are you mentally ill? Boss, forget talking. Just take it. It's meat. One hothead charged me with a wooden club, aiming for my skull. Perm guy's face went pale. Don't. Too late. My foot connected with the guy's chest. He left the ground, flew backwards, and didn't get up. I cracked my knuckles. Every joint popped like bubble wrap. It's been a while since I've had fun. Come on. All of you, boss. 4 Black is unconscious. Kill him. They rushed me. Beautiful. Slap. First guy hit the alley wall so hard the bricks thanked me. Slap, slap, slap. 3 more went airborne in different directions. My hands moved faster than their eyes could track. To them, I was a blur of patched clothing and flying fists. 3 minutes. 15 men. All on the ground. Groaning. Whimpering. Rethinking their career choices. I walked over to Perm guy, grabbed him by his stupid hair, lifted his swollen face to meet mine, and smiled warmly. So, you gonna tell me, or what? Tell you what? You never asked anything. What are you networking about? I paused. Blinked. Turned around to look at Tsuchiyoshin. Did I forget to ask my question? You forgot to ask your question, she confirmed, ice cold. Perm guy burst into tears. So, you gonna tell me, or what? Perm guy was sobbing on the ground with both cheeks inflated like a chipmunk storing nuts for winter. Tell you what. You never asked anything. Oh, right. I'd been so excited about punching people that I forgot to actually conduct business. Minor detail. Slap. One more for the road. Stop crying. Where's the black market? His face crumpled. That's what you wanted? You could have just asked. He sighed. Old city wall. Everyone knows about it. Slap. Then take me there. Genius. We left 15 groaning bodies in that alley like a modern art installation titled Bad Life Choices and headed east. Perm guy, real name Yushaunan, shuffled ahead of me like a beaten puppy leading its new owner home. An hour later, we arrived. The black market ran along an old city wall, a single stone-paved road with the wall on one side and a dried-up riverbed on the other. Clever setup. If authorities showed up, sellers could scatter through the riverbed into a maze of alleys on the other side. Perfect for illegal commerce. 2 big guys stood at the entrance smoking. Shaunan whispered to me like a tour guide at a crime museum. This is Black Master's territory. Selling heavy goods costs 5 yuan entry fee. Buying is free. I looked at Shaunan. Pay the man. His face twisted into pure agony. I'd beaten him up, taken his dignity, and now I was using him as my personal wallet. But he dug out the money without a word and paid up. Smart boy. Learning fast. What's your name again? You Shaunan. Just call me Shaunan, boss. Shaunan, you know this Black Master guy? Is he legit? His eyes lit up like I'd asked about his celebrity crush. Black Master is my idol. Honorable, keeps his word, loyal to his brothers. I waved him off before he started a fan club speech. Go find a scale. Then tell Black Master I've got big merchandise. Tell him to prepare 3,000 yuan cash. Do this right, and you get 10 pounds of meat. Xiaonan's eyes went so wide they almost left his skull. 10 pounds of meat. In 1981, that was like offering someone a small car. He vanished like smoke. While he was gone, I turned to Su Qiuxin, still bundled on the cart, watching everything with those huge, quiet eyes. Sorry about today, dragging you around all this. Tomorrow, after we sell, I'm taking you to the hospital. Blood tests, sputum tests, maybe a chest x-ray. Gotta check if there's anything else going on besides the TB. She didn't respond. But something shifted in those starlit eyes. The coldness cracked, just a fraction. She was realizing this wasn't a joke or a trick. I was actually doing this. Spending mountain fight blood money on a girl her own family had thrown away like garbage. Then she did something that nearly stopped my heart. She smiled. A real smile. The first one. Small, fragile, barely there, but real. Like the first flower pushing through frozen ground. On that impossibly beautiful half-hidden face, even a tiny smile was enough to make the whole dark alley feel warmer. Thank you. So quiet I almost missed it. But I didn't miss it. And I definitely didn't miss how that smile made my chest do something stupid and warm. Was it worth it? 9 days in the mountains, fighting wolves, befriending a pig, dragging 1,000 pounds of meat across 50 miles? For that smile? Yeah, it was. But I'm Lin Feng, so obviously I ruined the moment immediately. No need to thank me. I'm just trying to speed up the wedding night situation. The smile vanished. The death glare returned. Balance restored to the universe. Xiaonan came back with a scale, and I got to work. I pulled the cloth off the meat, and the black market lost its mind. In 1981, city residents got 2 pounds of meat per month on ration tickets. I had nearly 1,000 pounds sitting on a cart. It was like opening a treasure chest in the middle of a famine. People swarmed me like I was the last food source on earth. With ration tickets, 80 cents per pound. Without tickets, 1 yuan 20. The instant those words left my mouth, a forest of arms shot toward me, waving cash and ration tickets. Hands everywhere. People screaming. Me first. I have 6 children. I was here first. Give me 20 pounds. It was a full-blown riot. A meat riot. I was being mobbed by desperate citizens who hadn't eaten properly in months. Even the black market security guys came over, not to shut me down, but to help form a line because the chaos was threatening to collapse the entire operation. I gave up trying to take orders, just grabbed chunks, slapped them on the scale, and yelled the weight. 8 pounds. Pay up. Next, half an hour. 1,000 pounds of meat. Gone. Every last scrap. People who missed out walked away looking like their dog had died. I could have sold 5,000 pounds and still had a line around the block. I finally exhaled, turned around. Xiaonan was hovering nearby, anxious and hopeful. I walked past him to Su Qiuxin and stuffed a fat, bulging cloth bag into her hands. Here you go, boss lady. Count our earnings. She took the bag and her hands shook, like she was holding a live grenade. She tried to shove it back at me. I can't count all this. You do it. I was already walking away. No takebacks. She sat there clutching a bag of money she'd never imagined holding. More cash than her family had seen in years, looking completely lost. I found Xiaonan. Black Master here. Yes? Just around the corner. I left 10 pounds of meat on the cart for Xiaonan. He wrapped it in his own jacket and sprinted into the night like he'd stolen the crown jewels. Priorities. I walked around the wall corner and found Black Master's setup. A square table, 1 chair, 4 or 5 bodyguards standing behind. The man himself was mid-40s, dark-skinned, wearing a sleeveless vest in freezing weather like the cold was beneath him. Arms thick as posts. Face that tried to look friendly but had, I've seen things, written in every crease. Young brother. Sit. The setting's rough, but the wine is good. He produced a bottle of premium sheafing liquor, a roast chicken, and a bag of fried peanuts. Full hospitality package. Before we'd even exchanged names, he was playing the old friends having drinks card. Smooth. Too smooth. This man wanted to control the tempo. Set the mood. Make me feel obligated before negotiations even started. Not today, Grandpa. I sat down, grabbed the roast chicken and the peanuts, wrapped them both back up, and tucked them under my arm. Hope you don't mind, Black Master. My wife hasn't eaten yet. His eyebrows went up. His bodyguard shifted. Nobody had ever walked into a meeting with the Black Market King and immediately stolen his snacks. But I saw it, the tiniest flicker of respect in those sharp eyes. Good. Now we negotiate on MY terms. Black Master picked up his wine cup, all smooth and confident, ready to charm me into a bad deal. His 4 bodyguards stood behind him looking menacing. Then I casually mentioned my wife had tuberculosis. The wine cup went flying. The table went flying. The chair went flying. Black Master himself went flying, backwards off his seat, crashing to the ground, arms flailing like a turtle flipped on its shell. His 4 bodyguards teleported 8 steps backwards so fast they left afterimages. They didn't even help their boss up. Just stood there with faces whiter than fresh snow, staring at me like I'd announced I was carrying the plague. Which, technically, I kind of was. Black Master, you okay? Let me help you up. I took one big step forward. Stop. Stay right there. Don't touch me. He was scrambling on the ground like a crab running from a seagull. The most feared man in the black market, reduced to a panicking mess by one word. Tuberculosis. The ultimate power move. I didn't even plan it. I was just being honest. But watching the entire criminal underworld lose its composure over a medical condition was genuinely the funniest thing I'd seen since arriving in 1981. Relax, she's wearing 3 scarves and washes them daily. Very hygienic tuberculosis patient. 5 stars. I will kill you, kid. I have a 100-year-old wild mountain ginseng. For Liang, Black Master stopped mid-escape. Turned around so fast he almost gave himself whiplash. His eyes went from terrified to extremely interested in about 1/10 of a second. The fear evaporated like morning dew on a hot stove. See, in 1981 China, wild mountain ginseng above 3 liang is classified as treasure. Above 4 liang? National grade rarity. Maybe 3 roots found in the entire country per year. Collectors would sell their own mothers for one. Black Master had probably never seen one in person. He came trotting back, set up his table and chair like nothing happened, sat down, and smiled at me like we were old friends again. His back was soaked with sweat, but his face was pure business. Haha, little brother. Forgive my rudeness just now. Let me see it. I reached into my shirt and pulled out the cloth bundle. Unwrapped it carefully. There she was, my golden ticket. A gnarled, twisted, yellow-brown root with dense growth rings, deep grain lines, and a long-stacked crown that screamed, I've been growing in this mountain for a century. Beautiful. Priceless. A masterpiece of nature. Except for the bite mark. Right there on the main root. A big, stupid, pig-shaped chomp. Not bitten clean off. Thank God. But mangled enough to make any collector weep. And several of the delicate root hairs were snapped short. Broken. Gone forever. Chewed up and swallowed by 300 pounds of pork stupidity. Every time I looked at that bite mark, I wanted to travel back in time to that moment in the forest and punch second brother into orbit. I'd spent 4 hours delicately brushing dirt away from this root with a tiny stick, like an archaeologist uncovering a pharaoh's tomb. 4 hours of painstaking, loving, surgical precision. And just as I was about to finish, just as perfection was within reach, that impatient pig lunged forward and chomped the ginseng right out of the ground like it was a turnip. I tackled that pig so hard we rolled downhill together. Beat it senseless. It didn't even fight back. It knew what it had done. The guilt was written all over its stupid pig face. Black Master stared at the damaged root. His fingers were trembling. Not from excitement, from rage. This is sacrilege. This is a crime against nature. Who did this? Heh. First time seeing one. Got curious. Took a nibble. U8E. His face turned the color of a thundercloud. If this root were intact, I'd pay 5,000 yuan. But like this? Chewed up? 1,000. Maximum. 1,500. Look at it. It's been gnawed on. 1,100. We went back and forth. He was furious. I was shameless. We finally shook on 1,200 yuan. He snatched the ginseng like I might change my mind, wrapped it in silk, and stormed off muttering about blasphemy and lightning strikes. Black Master. Next time I find something good, I'll come to you first. Pete H. He spat on the ground without turning around. Customer service could use some work, but 1,200 yuan was 1,200 yuan. I collected my money and got Su Qiuxin back on the cart. It was midnight by now. Hotels required introduction letters from your work unit, standard 1981 bureaucracy, and even with one, no hotel would accept a TB patient. So we camped right there on the cart near the county hospital. Hay for a mattress, blankets for warmth, stars for a ceiling. Romantic if you squinted, homeless if you didn't. I pulled out the roast chicken I'd stolen from Black Master's negotiation table, still warm from being stuffed inside my jacket for hours, and handed it to Su Qiuxin, along with all 1,200 yuan. Here, you're the treasurer now. She stared at the money like I'd handed her a live snake. Earlier she'd counted the meat sales, 500-something yuan in cash, plus stacks of ration tickets for cloth, grain, oil, sugar, and industrial goods. She'd sorted and bundled every ticket with shaking hands. Now I was dumping another 1,200 on top of that. Nearly 2,000 yuan total. More money than her family had seen in their entire lives. And I just tossed it to her like spare change. You trust me with this? I was already walking away. No big speech. No conditions. Just, here's everything I earned almost dying in the mountains. Hold on to it for me. She sat there for a long moment. Then she looked at the money. Then at the warm chicken. Then at my back. The chicken. I can't finish it all. You should eat some too. Her voice was soft. Not cold. Not angry. Not defensive. Just soft. For the first time since I'd met her, Su Qiuxin sounded like a normal girl offering to share dinner. Oh, being sweet now? Starting to like me? Go ahead. Say it loud. I can handle it. I'll sacrifice myself and accept your feelings. She snatched her half of the chicken back and snapped. Go away. I walked a few steps away, squatted down with my portion, and grinned while I ate. She waited until I wasn't looking, carefully removed her scarf, and ate in tiny, delicate bites. Even the way she ate a chicken leg looked elegant. Ridiculous. I barely slept that night. The wind was cold, and someone had to stay alert. But Su Qiuxin slept deeply, peacefully, wrapped in blankets on a hay-covered cart outside a county hospital. Probably her best sleep in 3 years. At dawn, we were first in line at the hospital doors. No breakfast, she might need to fast for blood work. The second the doors opened, I parked her in a quiet corner of the hospital courtyard, away from other patients. Then I went inside, found the registration desk, and said the magic words. Tuberculosis patient. The nurse's face went through every shade of white. 3 doctors suited up in full protective gear, masks, gloves, the works, and escorted Su Qiuxin into an examination room like they were handling radioactive material. As her close contact, I got tested too. Quick check. No symptoms. My body was apparently as immune to tuberculosis as it was to common sense. After that, my role in the medical process was simple and devastating. Pay money. Pay more money. Pay even more money. Tests, x-rays, blood work, sputum analysis. Every time a doctor opened their mouth, my wallet got lighter. Then the results came back. The doctor's face was grim. The kind of grim that makes your stomach drop before anyone says a word. Su Qiuxin was sitting next to me in the doctor's office, gripping her own hands so tight her knuckles went white. Those starry eyes were locked on me, trembling. I grabbed her hand. She tried to pull away, but I held on, and turned to the doctor. Dr. Kong, my wife's disease. It's treatable, right? Your face is scaring me. Dr. Kong Xuemei looked up from the test results and absolutely detonated on me. Scared? You're scared now? Look at your wife. Look at these results. Morning sputum, loaded with acid-fast bacilli, blood streaks everywhere. She's been coughing blood. Did you not notice? She wasn't done. Chest x-ray, massive shadows on both lungs. Cavitation already at 1.5 centimeters and growing. White blood cell count through the roof. And the complications, bronchiectasis, pulmonary heart disease, pneumothorax, hypoproteinemia. She took a breath. I thought she was finished. She was not finished. Are you cheap? Is that it? Too stingy to pay? You could have asked the village collective. You could have asked the hospital. Do you think we'd let someone die? This disease has been eating her for 3 years, and you did nothing. Do you want her dead? Now look, I am not a patient man. In 2 lifetimes, nobody has ever yelled at me this long without catching hands. I stood up, jaw clenched, ready to fire back with the fury of 1,000. 2 small hands wrapped around mine. I looked down. Su Qiuxin was holding my hand, looking up at me with those dear eyes, tears threatening to spill. Every ounce of fight drained out of me like someone pulled a plug. I am pathetic. One sad look from a pretty girl, and the fearsome village tyrant turns into a golden retriever. Disgusting. I disgusted myself. I turned back to Dr. Calm, bent at the waist, and smiled my most humble smile. You're absolutely right. It's all my fault. I'm sorry. Please take care of her. Behind me, Su Qiuxin's grip tightened on my hand. Her heart was doing something complicated. The man who'd terrorized 10 villages, who punched bears and fought wolf packs, who'd never bowed to anyone in his life, was getting screamed at by a middle-aged doctor and just taking it. For her. Apologizing. For her. Her image of me just got very, very confusing. Part monster. Part idiot. Part something that made her chest hurt in a way that had nothing to do with tuberculosis. The verdict: Su Qiuxin needed to be hospitalized. Immediately. No visitors allowed. Serious TB patients required professional medical isolation. No amateur caregiving. No devoted husbands hovering around spreading germs. I said goodbye through a curtain. Couldn't even see her face. Just fabric between us. I'll be back in 2 weeks to pick you up. Listen to the doctors. Silence. Then, so quietly I almost missed it. If you don't come. I know the road. I'll walk back myself. My heart did a backflip. She was saying she'd come home. To my home. Voluntarily. A week ago this girl was walking back to a cave to die, and now she was telling me she'd walk back to me if I didn't show up. Did I handle this beautiful moment with grace and tenderness? Of course not. Oich. Can't live without me already? I knew you were falling for me. Can't blame you. I am incredible. You're basically stuck to me now like glue. The nurse standing nearby was biting her lip so hard, trying not to laugh. Su Qiuxin's face behind the curtain was probably red enough to light up the room. Get out. Yes, ma'am. Every touching moment I create, I immediately destroy. It's a gift. Shopping time. I had 700 yuan and pockets full of ration tickets. Su Qiuxin got 1,000 for hospital expenses. Time to buy everything my house didn't have, which was everything. I hit the state supply co-op like a tornado with a wallet. Winter cotton jackets, 4. Cotton pants, 4. Cotton boots, 4. 2 for me, 2 for Su Qiuxin. Military greatcoats. And then I saw it. Down jackets. In 1981. Ugly as sin, shaped like garbage bags, 70 yuan each. Almost criminal pricing. I bought 2 anyway because my wife was not freezing to death after I just spent a fortune keeping her alive. Underwear, socks, quilts, pots, pans, bowls, chopsticks, flour, rice, vegetables, potatoes, cabbage, cooking oil, salt, sugar. I bought it all. And premium pig feed for second brother, because that bottomless pit of a boar needed to eat something besides my hunting profits. The cart was stacked so high it looked like a small apartment building on wheels. My wallet looked like it had been through a war. 100-something yuan left. Exactly enough to repay Uncle Dashin's bride price. After starting the day with nearly 2,000, I was basically broke again. Making money, hard. Spending money, fastest thing in the universe. As I was pulling the cart out of town, someone yelled behind me. Lin Feng, is that you? Village errand runner Lin Ergu came bouncing up on his donkey cart. Scrawny little guy, sharp as a fox, knew everybody in town. He ran supply trips to the county every few days, buying stuff for villagers and picking up mail at the post office. The closest thing our village had to Amazon delivery. His eyes nearly exploded when he saw my loaded cart. I could literally watch him doing math in his head, calculating how much I'd spent. The greed was so visible it practically had a neon sign. Wow, Lin Feng, you hit the jackpot. That's at least 500 yuan of nice donkey. I'm borrowing it. His face went from greedy to terrified. His cart was loaded too. If I took the donkey, he'd have to pull 4 hours of cargo through the mountains with arms the width of breadsticks. Lin Feng, please, we're friends. I buy you drinks. Friends? You were one of the idiots who got me drunk and dared me to go propose to a stranger. Some friend. Now hand over the donkey, or, okay. But listen, you got a letter today? Express registered mail. Looks urgent. That stopped me cold. A letter? For me? I didn't know anyone outside the village. My only relative who lived far away was Annie Lin Qingxia, and she couldn't read or write. If you're lying, I'll rearrange your skeleton. I swear. Here, look. He reached into his bag and pulled out an envelope. And then everything happened at once. 3 men burst from the roadside. One kicked Lynn Ergus straight into a ditch. Another snatched the letter off the ground before it settled. My letter. My mystery letter. Being stolen by strangers who'd been waiting for it. Well, this just got interesting. 5 guys jumped out of nowhere, kicked Lynn Ergu into a ditch like a soccer ball, and snatched my letter off the ground. Just like that. Broad daylight robbery of mail. In front of me. These weren't regular thugs either. Matching suits, sharp movements, trained reflexes. They looked like they'd graduated from some kind of professional bodyguard who hates you academy. The leader grabbed the letter and turned to walk away without even a hello. Hey, that's my mail. He looked back at me like I was gum on his shoe. You don't deserve it. Oh, no he didn't. I set down my cart handles gently, gotta protect the merchandise, then launched myself at him like a human cannonball. Flying kick, full power. He tried to block with his arm. Crack. He flew backwards and rolled across the ground like a tumbleweed in a hurricane. His 4 buddies rushed me immediately. Coordinated. Professional. Actually knew how to fight. Didn't matter. 2 minutes. 5 trained men. All horizontal. I got tagged a few times. They had technique. I'll give them that. But their punches felt like mosquito bites on this body. I've been hit harder by Su Chioshin's walking stick. The first guy, still on the ground, tried to stuff the letter into his mouth. Like a spy movie. Trying to eat the evidence. I sprinted over, pried his jaw open, and yanked the paper out of his wet, spit-covered fingers. You think this is a James Bond film? Relax. I tore open the envelope. The guy on the ground warned me in his coldest voice. I'd recommend not reading that. Nothing good in there for a lowlife like you. Also, you can't read, can you? Previous Lin Feng might have been illiterate. Current Lin Feng graduated from the school of binge-watching everything and reading every article on the internet for 40-something years. Self-taught genius. Thank you very much. I unfolded the letter. For sentences. For sentences that rearranged my entire brain. Sentence 1. Lin Feng, you're a complete bastard. Okay, fair. Accurate. Moving on. Sentence 2. You have a daughter. Her name is Qin Xiaoxua. I'm sorry, what? A daughter? I have a child. Previous Lin Feng left behind a whole human being? My brain started making dial-up internet sounds. Sentence 3. You have the right to know, but I hope you never come see her. Sentence 4. Never appear in front of us again. Bastard. Bastard. For sentences. Maximum damage. Like getting punched in the soul by a very angry pen. I stared at the paper, then at the 5 guys groaning on the ground. You know the woman who wrote this? The leader stood up, brushed himself off, and spat words at me like bullets. She was right about you. You're trash. You don't even remember her? Good. Forget her. We want nothing to do with you. Ever. Don't contact her. Don't find her. And by the way, she has plenty of men pursuing her now. Real men. You should worry about yourself. Then he limped away with his squad and never looked back. They'd come specifically for this letter. If I hadn't bumped into Lin Ergu on the road, they would have intercepted it, and I'd never have known I had a daughter out there somewhere. Somebody really didn't want me in this woman's life. But a kid. I pulled Lin Ergu out of the ditch by his collar, dangled him in the air like a wet cat. Ergu. Any women named Qin in our village. His legs were kicking in empty air, but he managed his trademark weasel smile. Only one, Annie Qin on the west side. She weighs 200 pounds, not the one. What about surrounding villages? His eyes started darting toward my cart of expensive goods. The man couldn't help himself. Even while being held off the ground by his neck, he was calculating how to profit from my groceries. One wild pheasant, and you tell me everything. Or one broken leg, and you tell me everything. Your choice. Talking. The only Qin I know was a sent-down youth. Qin 1. She left when the program ended last year. His eyes went wide with gossip excitement. You don't remember? She was gorgeous. Her and another girl named Song Yuru were called the twin flowers of Linjiang. Men lined up from here to the ocean to chase them, and you used to harass them constantly. You peeped at them bathing. You grabbed their hands. You climbed over their wall at night. You. Stop. Previous Lin Feng. Previous stupid, criminal Lin Feng. Peeping. Groping. Wall climbing. The man was a walking restraining order violation. No wonder someone sent 5 guys to make sure I never found this woman again. For the record, I announced loudly, I am innocent. I have done nothing improper. I am pure. A virgin. Untouched snow. If anyone in this village spreads rumors otherwise, I will break their fifth leg. Lin Ergu scrambled onto his donkey cart. Don't need me to spread anything, he muttered. Whole village already knows. What was that? HYH. The donkey took off like it had rockets. I stood there holding a letter from a woman I'd apparently tormented, who'd given birth to my child, and whose family had sent a hit squad to keep me away from her forever. Previous Lin Feng's greatest hits just keep getting worse. Every day I discover a new crime I didn't know I'd committed. It's like inheriting someone else's criminal record, except the crimes are all personal. I almost ripped the letter up, held it over an imaginary fire in my mind. A daughter I never knew about, from a woman who hated me for things I technically didn't do, but also technically did, because this used to be my body. I folded it and put it away. Some problems need time. Back at the village, second brother came charging at me like a hairy missile of joy. I harnessed the big idiot to my cart and let him pull everything home. Unloaded the mountain of supplies. Disinfected Su Qiuxin's room with industrial alcohol, doctor's orders, 3 days of sanitizing, proper ventilation, throw away everything she'd used. Then I made second brother his dinner, meat mixed with premium pig feed. The moment he smelled that pig feed, he went insane, happier than he'd ever been about roasted meat. The gourmet wild boar who demanded campfire cuisine was secretly a pig feed fanatic this whole time. I felt personally betrayed. That night, I passed out early. Dreamed about 2 beautiful demon women chasing me through a forest, trying to kill me. Except the demons were really pretty, so I kept fighting them instead of running. We battled all night. It was exhausting and confusing, and I woke up feeling like I'd lost a war. Woke up because rain was falling on my face, through the giant hole in my ceiling. My house was literally raining indoors. Second brother was outside in the yard, rolling in mud puddles, having the time of his life, living his absolute best pig existence. No daughter drama, no mysterious letters, no leaking roof anxiety, just mud and joy. I'm starting to think the pig has life figured out better than I do. This house needs to be demolished and rebuilt from scratch, which means I need more money, which means another mountain trip. The cycle never ends. Make money, spend money, need more money. Same in 1981, same in 2025. The universe runs on one fuel, cash. Meanwhile, in a fancy mansion in some southern coastal city, the woman who wrote that letter, Qin Wan, was sitting on a redwood sofa that cost more than my entire village, bouncing a baby girl on her knee. My baby girl, apparently, named Qin Xiaoxue, a child I didn't know existed until yesterday, fathered by a version of me that I inherited like the world's worst hand-me-down. Her parents were furious. Dad, Qin Guoyang, recently politically rehabilitated, clearly important, was lecturing her with the kind of rage only wealthy fathers can produce. You wrote to that thug? You want him to come find you. Her mom chimed in with the guilt combo. That boy ruined you. Unmarried with a baby. Our family is a joke now. And sweet Qingzhou, wonderful, rich, handsome Qingzhou, doesn't even mind the child. He still wants to marry you. What more do you want? But Qinwan just sat there, calm as still water, playing with her daughter, and dropped her bomb quietly. I won't marry Wu Qingzhou. I won't marry anyone. I'll raise Xiaoxue alone. She was 22. Beautiful. For money. Had a perfect suitor lined up who was willing to accept another man's baby. And she chose none of it. She'd sent that letter not because she wanted me back. She'd sent it because she believed even a bastard like me deserved to know he had a kid. One letter. One truth. Then silence forever. Don't worry, Dad. I'll never write to him again. Good. Because your brothers already intercepted the letter. That scum doesn't even get his right to know. Except the brothers failed. Because I accidentally bumped into Lin Ergu on the road at exactly the right moment. Life is funny that way. And somewhere in Beijing, a whole other city, apparently the same scene was playing out. Another household. Another family. Another woman. Another portrait of me pinned to a target board, stabbed so many times it looked like abstract art. 2 women. 2 families. Previous Lin Feng didn't just ruin one life. He ruined them in bulk. Wholesale destruction of women's futures. Buy one trauma, get one free. I decided to stop thinking about this before my brain caught fire and focused on dinner at Uncle Dashin's place instead. What a difference 1,000 pounds of meat makes. Last time I walked into this house, Annie was screaming about robbers and threatening suicide. Tonight, She poured me premium Shifeng wine with a smile, so wide her wrinkles could trap insects. Cousin Jangwo was grinning. Little cousin Xiaoqing was actually making eye contact. Uncle Dashin was putting meat in my bowl instead of hiding his food from me. I'd returned the 100 yuan bride price. All debts cleared. For the first time in years, I was a welcome guest instead of a natural disaster. Uncle, I'm going back into the mountains in a few days. Before the snow comes, his face immediately went serious. Can't you wait until spring? May is better. Herbs are growing. It's safer. Can't wait. Need money. House is literally raining on me from inside. Cousin Jangwo got excited. Take me with you. I want to hunt a wild boar. I tossed a bone onto the table. Sure. Go to my yard tomorrow and wrestle second brother. If you can pin him, you're in. Jangwo went quiet. He'd seen second brother. 300 pounds of muscle and tusk that made the ground shake when it ran. Jangwo weighed maybe 140 soaking wet. That fight would last approximately 1 second. I handed over my last 80 yuan and some leftover ration tickets. Uncle, while I'm gone, fix my roof and windows. Please. Uncle Dashin opened his mouth to refuse. That's too much. We don't need. Auntie Lu Chuanhua's hand teleported across the table and snatched the money so fast it broke the sound barrier. Her smile could have powered a small city. Don't you worry, nephew. Your uncle will fix everything. Won't you, dear? From inside the house came the sounds of Uncle Dashin trying to argue and Auntie Chunhua shutting him down with extreme prejudice. I walked home grinning. Every penny I'd earned, gone. Meat sales, ginseng profit, all of it. Distributed to hospitals, supply stores, relatives, and home repairs. I was back to zero. Again. 1,000 yuan fortune had a lifespan of approximately 48 hours in my hands. Plus, I technically owed Lin Laowu 150 yuan from the hunting bed I'd lost by being 2 days late. He hadn't mentioned it. I hadn't mentioned it. We were both pretending it didn't exist, which is the most advanced form of debt management. One more mountain trip before winter. Time it right. Sell the haul when I pick up Su Qiuxin from the hospital. Buy a stove, coal, furniture, maybe even one of those fancy 3 rotations and a sound setups everyone wanted. Sewing machine, bicycle, watch, and a radio. Who am I kidding? I couldn't afford a watch strap at this point. Meanwhile, at the county hospital, Su Qiuxin was having the time of her life. Her own room, her own nurse, a bubbly 17-year-old chatterbox named Wang Zhizhi who hadn't stopped talking since they met. After 3 years alone in a cave, Su Qiuxin suddenly had a girlfriend who wanted to gossip about boys. Qiuxinjia, how did you meet your husband? He's so handsome. That jawline. Those shoulders. The head nurse called him ruggedly striking. And he's rich. A private room. The best medicine. Spending more per day than I make in a month. What does he do? Was it love at first sight? Was it romantic? Su Qiuxin laughed. Actually laughed. For maybe the first time in years. Romantic? I wanted to beat him to death the day we met. He's the village bully. I was basically kidnapped. He tried to marry my sister first. She ran away. So he took me instead. Gigi blinked. Processed none of it. A bully? Him? The guy who stood there getting screamed at by Dr. Kong without saying a single word back? That's not a bully. That's a puppy. Su Qiuxin looked down. Her lips curved up just slightly. 2 spots of pink appeared on her pale cheeks. Maybe he didn't want to scare me. Gigi pounced. Oh, didn't want to scare you. That's not a bully story. That's a love story. He's wrapped around your finger, and you know it. Su Qiuxin didn't argue. Lately, she kept thinking about a certain idiot. His stupid jokes. His warm chest. The way he'd bend his pride for her without blinking. He even showed up in her dreams. The annoying jerk couldn't leave her alone, even in her sleep. One dream was about her second sister coming back and marrying Lin Feng instead. She woke up crying. She was definitely, absolutely, 100% not falling for him. Right? 3 days of uncle bonding, drinking, eating meat, watching them fix my disaster of a house. Uncle Dashin and Uncle Day were actually relaxed around me now. Shoulder bumps, casual jokes, zero crying. Character development from my relatives. Beautiful. Day 4. I geared up for mountain trip number 2. Full winter loadout this time. Thick cotton everything. Homemade sleeping bag, shovel, grappling hook, knife, rifle, axe. Second brother got turned into a pack mule. Pots, pans, spices, and seasoning strapped all over his body. He looked like a walking kitchen that occasionally grunted. We left before dawn. Nobody saw us go. One day and one night of sprinting through the forest later, we were deep in untouched territory again. And immediately, second brother went rogue. We spotted a herd of red deer grazing by a stream. Before I could even form a plan, second brother exploded out from behind a tree and charged at them. Pots clanging, pans banging, spices rattling. He sounded like a possessed kitchen drawer rolling downhill at maximum speed. The deer had never seen anything like it. Who has? A 300-pound wild boar covered in cookware, screaming at full volume? They panicked and bolted in exactly the direction I needed. I burst out of my camouflage pile. Boom, boom, boom. 3 shots, 3 deer down. Knife out, quick mercy kills. Second brother trotted over, saw 3 dead deer, and started doing excited circles like a dog that just found a tennis ball. Our teamwork was getting scary efficient. We were basically a 2-man special forces unit, except one member was a pig and the other was technically from the future. That night, I roasted an entire deer on a spit. Had to. Second brother ate 15 pounds per meal, and I wasn't exactly a light eater myself. This time I marinated first, then slow roasted, then basted with oil and hit it with my custom spice blend. The smell that came off that deer could have ended wars. It drifted through the mountains like a delicious fog. Second brother was standing next to the fire, drooling a river, eyes locked on the meat, not blinking, breathing like a steam engine. I kicked him. Back up. Your slobber is literally dripping into the food. Huff huff. And another thing. I told you to find ginseng. You know, the expensive root? Worth thousands? Instead you led me straight to a deer buffet. You only find things you want to eat. Huff huff. Don't talk back to me. Why don't you ever sniff out wild boar meat instead? Huh? You never want to eat your own kind. The second those words left my mouth, something flickered in second brother's little piggy eyes. Oh no. Oh no. Next morning, I reminded him firmly. Today you find ginseng. If you don't find ginseng by sundown, tonight's menu is pork. Huff huff. Half a day later, second brother stopped walking. Started sniffing intensely. Led me through some thick brush, around a hill, down to a muddy hollow, and there they were. 15 wild boars. Wallowing in a mud pit like a family reunion at a very dirty spa. And second brother was looking at me, then looking at them, then looking at me again, with the expression of a military commander presenting a battle plan. He wanted me to set up an ambush, while he drove them toward me. This was our hunting strategy, the one we'd perfected together. Except he was using it on his own species. I grabbed his tail. Are you serious right now? Is your grandmother in that group? Your cousins? Your aunties? He gave me a sideways look that clearly communicated. These aren't family. That big male over there is competition. Competition? So this is a love triangle? You want me to assassinate your romantic rival? Huff. You want to eat him afterwards? Huff huff. You are the most morally bankrupt pig in the history of pigs. Betraying your own people. For barbecue. What happened to solidarity? What happened to brotherhood? He was already sneaking into position. Fine. Fine. Let's commit some war crimes together. We ran the play. Second brother circled wide to flush them out. I found a good ambush spot, loaded the rifle, and waited. He charged, screaming his war cry, ready to scatter them straight into my kill zone. Except, the wild boars didn't run. They looked at second brother, and the biggest male's eyes went crimson. It pawed the ground, snorted once, and charged directly at my so-called hunting partner. Second brother was still a teenager in pig years. 280 maybe. This alpha male was pushing 400, easy. Built like an armored truck with anger management issues. I watched second brother's eyes go from warrior to oh no in real time. He slammed the brakes, did a perfect 180, and ran straight at me, leading a 400-pound enraged alpha boar directly to my hiding spot, with the entire family herd stampeding behind them. Second brother, you absolute traitor. 2 wild boar tanks were now barreling at me at full speed with a dozen more behind them. The ground was literally shaking, dirt flying, trees trembling. It was like standing in front of a hairy avalanche with tusks. I stood up, aimed, and emptied the entire magazine into the big male. 5 shots, 5 hits. Blood sprayed everywhere. The monster staggered, wobbled, and stood back up, eyes glowing red, even angrier, even faster. The rest of the herd scattered from the gunfire, but Papa Boar had gone full berserker mode. He was going to kill me or die trying, and he seemed to be succeeding at the not dying part. Second brother had vanished. Gone. Disappeared into the forest like he'd never existed. The coward who started this entire mess had evacuated himself from the battlefield and left me alone with his 400-pound nemesis. When I survive this, I am turning you into sausages. The boar closed the distance. Too fast to reload. Too fast to dodge. I could see its bloodshot eyes, its frothing mouth, its tusks aimed at my organs. Wham! Second brother came flying out of nowhere from the side. Full speed. I suddenly read too. Tusks out. He caught the alpha in the gut like a furry torpedo. Blood exploded. The big boar flipped sideways and crashed to the ground, legs kicking uselessly. I reloaded. 3 shots to the head. Done. Then I tackled second brother and beat the living daylights out of him. I told you to find ginseng. You found your family tree. You almost got us both killed by your ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend. You lured him to me. You used me as your hitman. This was a pig assassination and I was the weapon. Huff huff. Don't huff huff me. That night we ate wild boar. Second brother ate his own kind without a shred of guilt or self-reflection. Chewed the ribs clean. Licked the bones. Went back for seconds. This pig has no loyalty, no morals, no species solidarity, and absolutely no shame. He'd sell out his own mother for a well-seasoned drumstick. He's perfect. I hate him. He's my best friend. 3 more days of deep mountain life. Eating like kings, hunting like machines. Second brother and I had become the most unlikely yet devastatingly effective predator duo in the history of wildlife. Our system was perfected. Pig charges screaming with cookware clanging, deer panic, I shoot. Michelin star dining every night under the stars. On day 3, second brother finally found another ginseng. The moment he started digging, I drop-kicked him away from the spot, so fast he probably got whiplash. Not today, pig. You are not chewing my retirement fund. 3 painstaking hours of brushing dirt with a tiny stick, barely breathing, hands shaking. But this time, perfect extraction. Complete root, every hair intact, wrapped in red string like a newborn baby. Smaller than the first one, but undamaged. No bite marks. No pig slobber. No 3,000 yuan dental catastrophe. I was so happy I tackled second brother and kissed him on the face. PTH. A mouthful of pig hair, worth it though. That night, I rewarded him with braised wild game cooked with mountain berries. The flavor was apparently so transcendent that he ate his 15 pounds, then ate my dinner too. Just walked over and inhaled it before I could react. You will die of overeating someday, and I will feel nothing. Day 5, time to head home. Built a stretcher, tied the haul to it. 500 pounds split between me and the pig. Actually manageable. We were making great time heading back. Then, middle of the night, bang. Gunshot. Not mine. Second brother and I both jolted awake. I grabbed the rifle. He jumped in front of me, bristles up, snorting. Protective mode activated. Say what you want about this pig. When danger comes, his first instinct is to shield me. Then betray me. But first, shield me. Bang. Another shot. Distant shouting. And then a sound that made my blood go cold. A bear roar. We sprinted toward the noise. 15 minutes of night running through pitch-black forest, guided only by moonlight and screams. Over a hill, looked down, and there it was. Lin Laowu, tiger scar face himself, standing in firelight, waving a torch at a massive adult black bear. His 3 sons behind him doing the same. And behind them, Lin East and Lin West lying motionless on the ground. Hurt. Maybe dead. 6 professional hunters versus 1 mama bear. And they were losing. Then I saw it. At the edge of the firelight, a bear cub. Shot. Barely moving. Dying. Mother bear. Injured cub. This was the worst possible scenario in the animal kingdom. A mother bear whose baby is dying doesn't retreat. She doesn't negotiate. She enters what I call everyone dies mode. Pain tolerance maxed out, speed doubled, rational thought deleted. She will fight until every living thing within range is dead, including herself. And right now, Laowu's fire tricks were the only thing between his family and getting turned into human confetti. I couldn't shoot. Any stimulus might trigger her berserker switch instantly. Laowu and his boys would be shredded before I could reload. Second brother, circle behind the bear. Wait for my signal. Huff huff. He trotted off into the darkness. I crept forward, found a good position, raised the rifle, held my breath, waited. Then, Because second brother is fundamentally incapable of following instructions. I watched him sneak up to the baby bear instead, not the mother. The baby. What are you doing? I wanted to scream, but couldn't. One sound, and the mother would explode. All I could do was watch in frozen horror as my idiot pig's sidekick waddled up to a dying bear cub like he was about to introduce himself at a dinner party. Huff! Everything stopped. The air turned solid. Lao Wu and his sons went stiff as statues. The mother bear's eyes, already red, went nuclear. Blood vessels popping across her eyeballs like tiny fireworks of rage. Second brother head-butt the cub. Full force. The little bear went flying, tumbled across the ground, and went silent. He killed the baby, in front of the mother. While I was trying to de-escalate, I told him to go behind the bear. He went to the CUB. I said, wait for my signal. He signaled himself. This pig doesn't follow plans. He creates chaos and calls it strategy. The mother bear screamed. Not roared, screamed. Like something from a horror movie. Full berserker mode activated. She locked onto second brother with the intensity of a guided missile. And second brother? He turned around and ran. Straight at me. Again, leading a 500-pound enraged mama bear directly to my hiding spot. Again, this is literally the wild boar incident all over again. Second brother, you pig-shaped disaster. You are the worst teammate in the history of teamwork. No choice. Cover blown. I stood up, aimed, and emptied 3 rounds into the bear's skull. Then I ran. Behind me. Crash, snap, boom. Trees breaking. Bushes exploding. The bear was still coming. 3 headshots and she was still running. Berserker mode meant her body hadn't gotten the memo that it should be dead. Go chase the pig. He killed your kid. Not me. I'm innocent. Wrong target. Wrong target. The gap was closing. I could hear her breathing right behind me. Heavy. Wet. Furious. 500 pounds of maternal revenge gaining ground in the dark. Down at the hill, Lao Wu had figured out what happened. He turned to his sons with a face like carved granite. That was Lin Feng's pig. I saw the cooking pot strapped to it. Lin North, stay with your brothers. Lin South, Lin Center, grab your guns. We're going after them. That kid just risked his life for us. If I'd been there, I would have screamed. I didn't want TO. My pig made me. This is all the pig's fault, but I wasn't there. I was sprinting through a dark forest with a zombie bear on my tail, cursing every life decision that led me to this moment, including the one where I decided to adopt a 300-pound wild boar who treats every dangerous predator like a personal challenge and every battle plan like a suggestion he's free to ignore. One man, one pig, one very angry dead bear walking. Day 6 of hunting trip number 2, and I'm beginning to think the mountains are trying to kill me personally. So there I was, sprinting through pitch-black forest with a zombie bear behind me whose face I'd already half blown off and who still wouldn't die, when I noticed second brother had disappeared again. Typical. Start the problem, vanish during the problem, reappear at the most chaotic possible moment. The pig playbook. Sure enough, I tore through a bush and there he was, hiding. Crouched in ambush position like some kind of pork commando. The little psycho had actually run ahead and set up a trap. While I was being chased to death, he was planning a tactical flanking maneuver. This pig watches too many war movies. The second mama bear charged past his hiding spot, wham. Second brother launched himself into her gut like a tusked torpedo. Both tusks buried deep. Blood everywhere. Mama bear spun and slapped him across the face. Her claws carved deep bloody lines across his snout. He squealed and dodged, barely, taking maybe 60% of a blow that would have decapitated a normal animal. Lucky pig. Ugly pig now, but lucky. I spun around, raised the rifle, bang bang. One round caught her square in the skull. Half her face exploded. Bone visible. One eye gone. She turned her remaining blood-red eye toward me. Still standing. Still furious. Like losing half her face was a minor inconvenience. Lao Wu, this is your fault. You and your son started this. More running. More crashing through trees behind me. This bear was unstoppable. A 500-pound meat tank running on pure rage and dead baby fuel. Then I saw it. A cliff edge. Dead end. Nowhere left to run. Most people would panic. I am not most people. I am a man with the core strength of an Olympic gymnast piloted by a brain from 2025 that has watched way too many action movies. I ran straight at the edge. The bear was 5 meters behind. I could feel her breath on my neck like standing behind a furnace that hated me. At the last second, I dropped low, dug my feet into the dirt, and skidded. Full emergency brake. Then I twisted sideways using every ounce of my ridiculous abdominal muscles. The bear's momentum carried her forward. Her body shot past me, half over the edge, but she caught herself. Those massive claws dug into the rock. She was pulling herself back up, rearing onto her hind legs, front paws rising for the killing blow. Second brother appeared from nowhere. Full sprint. Head down. Tusks aimed directly at Mama Bear's backside. Double tusk. Rear entry. The legendary 1,000-year kill technique. ROARR. She lost her balance completely, tipped forward, and went over the cliff. 15 meters down. A massive boom echoed through the mountains as 500 pounds of bear hit the bottom. I crawled to the edge and looked down. She wasn't moving. Finally dead. Finally. I turned around to express my feelings to second brother, specifically, feelings of violence, when something caught my eye. On the cliff wall, lit by moonlight, a flash of deep, impossible red, like someone had painted fire onto the rock. I sniffed the air. A rich, heavy, ancient medicinal fragrance. The kind of smell that makes your nose stand at attention and your wallet start tingling. Is that? No way. Footsteps behind me. Lao Wu and two of his sons burst out of the trees, gasping for air. Lin Feng, are you alive? Second brother blocked their view of me like a bodyguard, snorting suspiciously. Even after nearly dying together, this pig trusted nobody near me. Loyal idiot. I'm fine. Few scratches. Lao Wu exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for an hour. Then he looked at me with the most serious expression I'd ever seen on a man with tiger scars. I owe you my family's lives. All 6 of us. Whatever you need, whenever you need it. Just say the word. In these mountains, a lot of people can be buried. You tell me who to bury. He was offering to commit murder for me. That's a level of gratitude I wasn't prepared for. Honestly, this was all the pig's fault. He killed your bear cub and led the mother straight to me. I'm the victim here. I kicked second brother. He didn't care. I only know you saved us, Lao Wu said firmly. Our lives are yours. Lin South and Lin Center nodded behind him like soldiers. Brother Feng. Our lives. Yours. No discussion. Okay, stop. I'm getting goosebumps. Look, there's a dead bear at the bottom of that cliff. And there's something red growing on the rock face. Looks like red spirit mushroom. Fire red. Huge. Tomorrow morning we go down and get it. Finders keepers, everyone gets a share. I watched their faces carefully. I'd just saved their lives and shown them treasure. This was the test. Money makes people ugly. I wanted to see what these men were made of. Lao Wu's face hardened instantly. Lin Feng, you saved us. You killed the bear. You found the mushroom. If you say everyone gets a share, you're insulting us. We are not the kind of men who take money from the person who saved their lives. Lin South jumped in. Brother Feng, we'd give you all our hunting profits before we'd touch a single coin of yours. Clean. Every one of them. Good men. The kind you can build something with. I filed that information away for later. I was going to need trustworthy people for what I had planned. Next morning, we went back to the cliff. In daylight, the red spirit mushroom was even more spectacular. A massive, fire-colored disc growing from the rock face, layered with concentric rings like frozen flames. Nearly 50 centimeters across, 30 centimeters tall, probably 60 pounds fresh. Lao Wu rappelled down on my rope and cut it free with surgical precision, leaving enough of the root structure that it'd grow back someday. Smart old hunter. When he came back up holding that mushroom, it covered most of his upper body. I hugged it and kissed it. Multiple times. Second brother tried to bite it. I kicked him into next week. When it dries, it'll be 8 or 9 pounds, Lao Wu said. The supply co-op would give you 400 yuan plus work points. I stared at him. Uncle Lao Wu, you've been selling your mountain haul to the state supply co-op? For work points. Where else would we sell it? Have you ever heard of the concept of markup? Of selling to people who actually want things? Of the black market? He looked at me like I'd suggested the earth was flat. Next time I go to the city, you're coming with me. I'm about to change your entire financial worldview. This poor family had been hunting in Death Mountain for years, selling everything at government-fixed prices like honest little citizens, while 10 miles away people were paying triple on the black market. They were sitting on a gold mine and using it to buy bus tokens. Oh, And what about the dead bear at the bottom of the cliff? We looked down. 500 pounds of premium bear meat, bear skin, bear bile, bear paws. Every single part worth serious money. Just lying there, waiting. This trip started as a disaster and was ending as a fortune. 1 ginseng root, a giant spirit mushroom, 3 deer, a wild boar, and now a full-grown black bear. All because my pig can't follow simple instructions. Second brother trotted over, sniffed the air toward the dead bear below, and looked at me with his "So when do we eat?" expression. I looked at him. He looked at me, blood still drying on his ugly scarred snout. "You are the luckiest, stupidest, most dangerous animal I have ever met. And somehow, against all logic, you keep making me money." Huff huff. That wasn't a compliment. Huff. 2 days later, under cover of darkness, our hunting party crept back into the village like smugglers returning from a heist. Which, honestly, wasn't far from the truth. I'd learned my lesson about showing off. 2 massive hauls in a row was enough to make every jealous eyeball in the village start scheming. I didn't fear anyone in a fair fight, but I feared annoyance. Sneaky village politics? Petty sabotage? Someone, accidentally, reporting me for speculation? No thank you. We moved at night like professionals. The haul was spectacular. Over 1,000 pounds of mixed meat. Deer, wild boar, bear. 1 pristine wild ginseng root, unbitten. Thank you very much. 1 absolutely massive fire-red spirit mushroom. 2 bear gallbladders, 1 big, 1 small. And 8 bear paws, which Lao informed me were worth serious cash. I kept extra meat this time because second brother's appetite was basically a monthly expense at this point. Lao helped smoke it into jerky so it'd last. Smart old man. Everything he touched turned into preserved profit. The day before Suchioshin's hospital discharge, I loaded up the flatbed cart and headed to the county with Lao, Lin South, and Lin Center. First stop, meat buns. I bought everyone a pile, so big it looked like we were feeding an army. These mountain men had probably never eaten at a restaurant in their lives, and they attacked those buns like wolves on a wounded deer. Then, back to my favorite place, the old city wall black market. I found the gate guards and asked for Black Master. No. Flat refusal. Apparently last time's tuberculosis incident had earned me a lifetime ban from polite criminal society. I beat up all 5 guards until they started calling me Grandpa. Then someone went to fetch Black Master. Half an hour later, the man himself swaggered around the corner with 6 bodyguards, chest puffed out, voice booming. Who has the audacity to cause trouble at MY Black Market? He saw my face. His swagger died mid-step. He spun on his heel like a cartoon character. Black Market's closed tonight. Everyone go home. It's the TB guy. Lao Wu and his boys stared at me. I thought you said you two were close? I scratched my nose. We are close. This is just how he shows affection. Black Master, I called out sweetly. If you run away, I'll send my wife to live at your house. She coughs a lot. He froze. Turned around. Smiled the fakest smile in human history. Little brother. Didn't recognize you. What fine merchandise do you have today? Same setup as last time. Little square table, bottle of good liquor, roast chicken, peanuts. I waved Lao and the boys over. Everyone eat. It's on Black Master. Black Master's I twitched, but he said nothing. Hospitality was his power move, after all. He just didn't expect me to invite 3 additional freeloaders. Kid, if you don't have something good this time, I'm going to get violent. You get violent? I once fought 100 men at once and won. Ask these guys. Black Master looked skeptical. 100? 100 ducks maybe. Lin South lifted his head from a chicken leg without pausing his chewing. It's true. Last year, half the village showed up. Brother Fong punched me so hard I flew 8 meters. Couldn't walk right for 2 weeks. Lin Center nodded, also not looking up from his food. He knocked me out with 1 hit. I was in bed for 10 days. Black Master studied these 2 massive, muscular hunters, confirming that I'd personally hospitalized them in a 1 versus everyone brawl, and his cocky energy dropped about 40%. Ahem. Let's talk business. I placed 2 cloth bundles on the table. He waved his bodyguards back and opened the first one. His breath caught. Another wild mountain ginseng. Fresh from the earth, roots intact, properly wrapped. He inspected it with trembling hands, turning it over and over, checking every surface. No bite marks. No pig damage. Perfect condition. His entire demeanor transformed. Brother, I knew you were talented. Let's be sworn brothers. Blood oath. Right now? Absolutely not. We're cold, emotionless business partners. Nothing more. 5,000 yuan. The smile froze on his face like someone had pressed pause. 5,000? You're robbing me with a smile. This route isn't old enough for 5,000, and we both know it. Fair point. He wasn't stupid, but I had my own card to play. Black Master, look at me. Look at my team. We are a continuous supply chain. Ginseng, mushrooms, bear parts. Whatever the mountain has, we deliver. You want to be our exclusive buyer, or should I find someone else? I gestured casually toward the second, larger bundle. Even if you offer me 1 yuan for the ginseng, I won't argue. But his eyes went wide. He looked at the bigger package. Back at me. At the package again. I could see the gears grinding behind his eyes. If he lowballed me on the ginseng, what I showed him next might go to a competitor. 3,800. That's my absolute ceiling. Deal. Damn it. He played himself, and he knew it. He'd gone from 1,200 last time to 3,800 this time for a worse route, purely because I implied there was something better in the other bag. He snatched the second bundle and ripped it open. Fire-red light spilled across the table. What the spirit mushroom. Massive. Perfect. Layers of crimson rings like frozen flames, thick as a dinner plate, glowing in the lamplight like a precious gem. Premium wild fire spirit mushroom. This color. This size. Forget it. 1,200. Final offer. Lawu looked up from his chicken leg. Just one sentence, delivered with the casual authority of a man who'd spent 40 years in the mountains. Check the thickness and color again. That's cliffwall grown. Perfect grade. Black Master's face twitched. He knew Lawu was right. 1,500. Lawu went back to his chicken. Negotiation complete. One sentence. The man was a legend. Deal. Total take. 5,300 yuan for ginseng and mushroom alone, plus 500 pounds of meat to sell at regular black market prices. Grand total for the night, 5,700 yuan. I peeled off 500 yuan and a stack of ration tickets and shoved them into Lawu's hands. Uncle Lawu, take it. If you try to give it back, we're done. No more partnership. No more hunting trips. No more nothing. I mean it. I can't. Your boys need wives. Lin East and Lin North are old enough. You've been selling 1,000 yuan pelts to the government supply co-op for 20 yuan and work points like a bunch of monks. Those days are over. He looked at his sons. Lin South and Lin Center were vibrating with excitement. They'd never seen this much money in their lives. Lawu took the cash, folded it carefully, looked me dead in the eyes. Our lives are yours. Every one of us. Whatever you need. That's the spirit. Now finish your chicken. Next morning, I picked up Su Qiuxin from the hospital. She walked out looking stronger, brighter, with actual color in her cheeks. Still thin, still fragile, but alive, and getting more alive every day. No introduction letters meant no hotel, so we spent big to squeeze into a guest house for one night. Money well spent. Tomorrow we'd head home. Me, my recovering wife, 3 mountain hunters, and a cart full of supplies bought with bear guts and mushroom money. 5,700 yuan in one night. From a guy who owned 0 doors 2 weeks ago. Not bad for a village psychopath with a pig.